This magician is simply not scientific. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 176, The Lighthouse of the Spiritual World, Illuminating Both Worlds. Accompanied by the berserker's painful howling and disparate curses. The berserker's body and soul in front of the sacrifice ritual platform were quickly swept into the rising flames and disappeared. A moment later, a curtain-like figure fell from the dimension woven by the flames above the ritual platform. As the leader of the ritual, Tucker quietly observed the scene. A mysterious existence harvested a certain amount of flesh and soul. Then the soul and shadow were woven. It may not be a conscious Holy Spirit or evil spirit. It may also be a mysterious existence that is in the corner of shadow and death and still has reason. There are indeed too many mysteries in the extraordinary world, especially mysterious existences with ritual orientation. It is better to analyze them less. Tucker shook his head and slightly restrained the idea of further exploration. The first part of the 4-star powerful ritual witchcraft is this ritual witchcraft, which is considered the front tune. The middle tune is naturally to master these soul curtain shadows. The back tune is to use the number of these soul curtain shadows in battle. At this time, around Tucker, there were 3 thick silk-like soul screens. He placed one hand on the soul screen obtained by the living sacrifice berserker. He carefully touched and felt it, and a look of joy climbed up his eyebrows. The soul screen obtained by directly sacrificing a living person is equivalent to 100% of the effect of the soul level weaving of the sacrificer. And the effect of sacrificing a fresh corpse is only about 80%. As time goes by, the extraordinary characteristics of the flesh are lost, and the effect will become worse and worse. It may even be only 20% in the future, or even less than 10%. In other words, Tucker's eyes narrowed slightly. If I can capture a high-level extraordinary person, or get the corpse of a high-level extraordinary person, I can get a very powerful soul screen. Tucker, with his eyes narrowed, thought about it and smiled softly. Interesting. Then Tucker's eyes swept over the 3 soul screens. Tucker's mind moved. The STEAM origin spiritual state talent naturally took effect. With a gradual improvement of his level and the development of his talent for the STEAM and origin spiritual state, Tucker can now use his own talent to deeply and meticulously control the surrounding source energy. The 3 soul shadows quickly supported themselves. The skilled control of the middle tone was not a problem for Tucker at all. In this regard, Tucker has an absolute talent advantage. The 3 standing soul shadows were like extraordinary people who entered the shadow state. Tucker separated the 3 soul shadows. Tucker took a step and directly entered a soul shadow. The 3 soul shadows were like curtains. As a wizard, Tucker was a magician behind the curtain, and he could shuttle back and forth among these soul shadows at will. After repeatedly shuttling back and forth and adapting to it, Tucker was more and more amazed. Tucker walked out of a soul shadow, and after examining it, Tucker walked towards the depths of the cave. As Tucker moved forward, the 3 soul shadows quickly followed and entered Tucker's shadow state one after another. These soul shadows themselves have no combat power, but they are all life forms, with souls and shadow characteristics, and they have a high upper limit of plasticity. By devouring other soul shadows, devouring souls, and devouring and absorbing shadow creatures, they can also be upgraded. There is a huge development space and potential. Whether it is using the power of barriers or other means, it is possible to increase the upper limit of their soul-level defense capabilities. While thinking, Tucker had disappeared into the dark depths of the cave. After the trip to the underground city black market, time returned to a relatively peaceful daily practice. Tucker spent most of his time studying in the Thornflower Magic Tower. Especially the wizard courses, and several special courses that require additional fees to study. For example, astrology, divination, mysticism, ritual studies, etc. Tucker paid part of the tuition, but Tucker did not study in depth, only learning the basic principles, or some simple introductory knowledge. Each of these subjects requires a lifetime of painstaking research. Tucker naturally didn't have that much energy. The main witchcraft courses were where Tucker worked hard. When he encountered something he didn't understand, Tucker would directly spend magic gold to find those instructors for one-on-one tutoring. After asking the instructors of many wizard courses many times, Tucker found that there was a problem. The problem was not in learning, but outside of learning. At the beginning, it was only 1 or 2 times. But later, when the coincidences of encounters began to increase, Tucker gradually realized the serious commonality of things. When Tucker was riding a steam bus, he would happen to meet a senior sister in the academy. In the Magic Course Scroll Collection Hall, Tucker would meet a senior sister who happened to be at the same progress as himself. Even when Tucker was drinking coffee, he would meet senior sisters from the Thornflower Magic Tower Academy. These senior sisters not only wanted to have a candlelight dinner with Tucker, but also wanted to treat it as Tucker's dinner. It didn't matter if they got some small financial support from the juniors. They mainly wanted to show their elegant sleeping posture at 4 o'clock in the morning to the juniors. Occasionally, from the conversations of other high tower students, those simple words such as "there are mines at home, as rich as a dragon," "the magic gold piled up into a mountain" fell into Tucker's ears. Tucker then understood a little. The Dark Sun Church could not track down Tucker. As a result, Tucker was chased by this group of high tower school sisters. This made Tucker quite speechless. At the same time, St. Land's Lighthouse Plan was gradually launched. A large number of medium and large source energy steam engines were sent to the spirit world by St. Land's intermediate extraordinary people. Then the corresponding earth-based builders used their witchcraft to cooperate with the corresponding rituals. Quickly build a steam tower in the spirit world. The arcane wizards built and open up the arcane veins. Start the source energy steam engine, and a series of steam rings are built. The roaring sound of steam swept the spirit world and lit up St. Land's spirit world, covered by the dark sun. Yes, St. Land's steam tower is to shine from the spiritual world into reality. The development of the spiritual world is the first step in the application of a supernatural ecological world. Even many powerful supernatural ecosystems will open up the door to the spiritual world, one door to 2 worlds. One side is real, the other side is the spiritual world. Let the ecological domains of the world stack up. It is said that the floating star city of the Principality of Sirion has a lot of experience in the development and application of the spiritual world. Moreover, the rules and characteristics of the supernatural world in the spiritual world are easier to show than the real dimension. Before, St. Land did not have enough resources and manpower to develop and enter the spiritual world. But now, with the support of the entire Principality of Sirion, the development of the spiritual world is obviously not a problem. The spiritual world steam lighthouses of the spiritual world layer were erected one after another. During the construction process, there will naturally be attacks from the Dark Sun Force, and they are very fierce attacks. And Sirion's defense is also unusually resolute. According to the report of St. Land's Steam Daily, the clergy of the Tri-Eyed Church of the Principality, the extraordinary core of the Empire, the talented graduating class of the Extraordinary Academy of the Floating Star City, as well as the elites and even genius extraordinary people from many other provinces, they are all rushing to St. Rand one after another. Obviously, the Principality of Sirions wants to build St. Rand into a holy shield against the Dark Sun Church. A holy shield that the Dark Sun Church cannot break. In the rental cabin, browse the information of today's Steam Daily. After confirming that there is no recruitment order for the robbery plan, Tucker put the newspaper aside. Looking up, Tucker looked at the street not far away. There was obviously nothing there. But most of the street seemed particularly bright. Even the little haze steam floating there was cleaner and brighter than other places. The steam lighthouse standing in the spirit world shone the light in the spirit world and penetrated into reality. The lighthouse of the spirit world illuminates both worlds. This is also the beginning of building a lighthouse in the spirit world to fight against the invasion of the Dark Sun Church and prevent them from pulling the whole world into the Dark Sun abyss. After looking around for a while, Tucker walked through and entered his alchemy chamber. As soon as he came in, Tucker glanced at the stone window not far away. It doesn't matter if you don't look. As soon as he saw it, Tucker's eyebrows raised and his face was full of joy. He saw that the magical hut about the size of a fist on the top of the magical vine had disappeared. There were still some traces of debris on the ground around it. In other words, Tucker's magical hut fell off by itself and was officially born. Chapter 177 Star Trek Monastic Society. Tucker searched every corner of the alchemy chamber, but still could not find any trace of the magic hut. It shouldn't be. That little guy can't run away. After looking around for a while, Tucker realized something. He went to the pet bag of Little Sniffing Duck and looked inside. Sure enough, the magic hut was sleeping soundly with a Little Sniffing Duck. Tucker touched the pet bag and took out the magic hut. The magic hut was quite heavy. It looked like a gray-black stone house the size of a fist. However, as it was fed with various materials, the form of the small stone house would become a magic hut. And as more and more extraordinary materials were fed, its magical properties would become more and more incredible. At that time, a magic hut would be a huge castle and tower when it was spread out. When it was folded, it would be an ordinary extraordinary storage bracelet. Even with the feeding of corresponding materials, it would have the ability to fly, sail, and so on. In today's steam age, there are a certain number of source energy steam engines that are integrated into the magic cabin. In the future, on the spiritual star track, it will be no problem to transform into a magical spiritual steam train. The magic cabin has almost all-round adaptability. This is why many extraordinary people spend a lot of resources to cultivate the magic cabin. It is said that on the ocean, those powerful sea demon ships are cultivated through the magical seeds of the ocean. In the depths of the ocean abyss, the bones of whales fall and breed. The whale skeletons piled up there are the breeding grounds for the magical seeds of the ocean. In particular, the sea demon ship owned by the 9 magic sea generals is inherited from generation to generation by the sea demon generals. Of course, for the pirates, the so-called inheritance is the ceremony of cutting off the heads of the previous generation of sea demon generals and feeding the sea demon ship on the bow. As Tucker touched the magical cabin, the magic cabin gradually woke up. After a moment, the magic cabin conveyed its intimate will to Tucker. All along, Tucker not only used his own source energy to cultivate the magic house, but also used his own life veins to supplement the magic house. In the eyes of the magic house, Tucker is the great mother who gave birth to it. Tucker took out a little blood crystal, and the magic house saw it and opened its mouth and sucked it suddenly. The blood crystal was swallowed directly by it. Behind the small mouth was a bottomless black, and the magical stomach was like an abyss, with only one protruding that could hold it. This is also the reason why the appetite of the magic house is so big. Tucker took out some other scattered materials. He fed some of each. Even the rough rune stone fragments in Tucker's hand, Tucker also took out some and fed them to the magic house. These scattered and sparse materials are easier for it to absorb and grow. If the magic house eats those stones every day, I'm afraid it won't be long before the magic house itself will become a lifeless big stone. After feeding a little, Tucker put it back into the pet bag, and the little sniffing duck was still snoring. After this period of getting along, the little duck was no longer afraid of Tucker. Even when it was hungry, it would stick its head out to look at Tucker and ask for food. When Tucker was doing alchemy, the little guy would run to the side to watch. Anyway, there was nothing wrong with keeping such a magical animal. After all, the magical hut itself was also an ecological environment. After expanding in the future, it was inevitable to fill the internal ecology. Tucker was planning to grow the magical hut into a large castle, or even as big as a tower. After more than an hour of refining materials, Tucker put some scattered materials and then walked to the rental hut. Looking at the ash clock, Tucker said to himself, "It's about time to go to the underground black market again." After preparing, Tucker opened the door and walked out. Underground City. Star Trek Market. A corner. Tucker spread out his stall. There were more than a dozen second-level fine materials on it. Under the hood of the priest's robe, a layer of shadow covered Tucker's face. Today is the second day of this round of Grey Night period. Tucker planned to make a preliminary contact with the extraordinary person who was going to buy the third-level fine materials, or even let him refine the leader-level materials for him. At Baggins' place. This month, Tucker got about 50,000 magic gold. The harvest was as rich as ever. But at their family chamber of commerce, because of the steam lighthouse mission assigned by St. Land, their family's council was delayed. Naturally, Tucker's proposal to get the Lord-level dragon crystal materials in advance was also delayed. And the plan to rob the light materials was nowhere to be seen. Tucker could only contact the extraordinary person in the dungeon who seemed to have a complicated identity. Today's black market seems to be more lively than ever. With a lighthouse plan to open up the spiritual world layer, many extraordinary people of level 20 or 30 can enter the spiritual world layer through the spiritual lighthouse gate. And the spiritual world layer has been through hundreds of years of ecological development of St. Land itself, and the great progress of the steam era in the past 200 years. A large number of extraordinary biospheres have been precipitated, and they are still quite dense extraordinary biospheres. The strong have no time to clean up those low-level extraordinary creatures. But for those extraordinary people who have used the spiritual lighthouse gate to enter the spiritual world, it is like opening up a new world. And there is the spiritual lighthouse as a backup. During this period, many extraordinary people have gained a lot by exploring the spiritual world through the steam lighthouse gate. Are the second-level elite materials here harmless materials? Just as Tucker was waiting, a rather tactful and delicate female voice sounded. Tucker raised his head and saw a female extraordinary person wearing iron blue leather armor, a short knife on her waist, and a gray linen robe on the outside. Behind this female extraordinary person, there were two other extraordinary people, a man and a woman. Yes. After examining for a moment, Tucker nodded. Suddenly, the three of them whispered. Is it him? Looks like him. Did they say that the refiner likes to immerse himself in the shadow state? This guy just has a shadow gray mist on his face. It should be him. He is the only one in the whole market who sells second-level materials, and the price is quite high. I heard that he also has third-level elite materials, but he just hasn't taken them out. Looking at these three people who are all level 19, obviously extraordinary people like high tower apprentices, whispering in front of him. Tucker was a little speechless. We are so close. Do you really think I have hearing problems? Can we take a look? The leading female student looked at Tucker and asked. Tucker did not respond, but asked slowly. What did you hear about me? The leading female student paused, looked Tucker up and down, and then said. It has long been spread among the students that the dwarves have top-grade elite materials for refiners. Then some time ago, there was news that someone in the underground market was selling similar top-grade elite materials at high prices. So we came to take a look. Do you also purchase goods from the dwarves? Tucker nodded as he listened to the explanation of the female student in front of him. Yes. These are all top-grade fine materials. Although the price is a bit higher, it is guaranteed to allow you to advance safely. Of course, your current level does not need to be completely harmless to advance. One ordinary refined elite material and two harmless materials, so that you can better experience the process of transformation. After Tucker's instructions, the three of them each selected one or two materials. Then they left with satisfaction. Tucker, who was guarding the stall, thought silently. Well, news about refiners has gradually come in. I have my own channels for selling resources, so I don't really need to rely on the channels of the dwarves. Putting pressure on them can also better get the resources I need. Just as Tucker was thinking, a burly man wearing a devil mask appeared in front of Tucker's stall. Mr. Refiner, I didn't open the stall in the last rotation cycle. Is there something wrong? The devil-masked man's voice was a little rough, but Tucker could still tell that the other party was the one waiting for him. I was busy guarding the lighthouse and was a little delayed. Tucker responded with a slightly hoarse voice. Tucker's words resonated with the man. Indeed, those spiritual creatures are really troublesome. A beehive mountain over there is too tricky. Thousands of spirit thorn demon bees attack at any time. Only those spellcasters dare to cast spells and attack from a distance. Other sequence spellcasters, even knights, can't withstand it and can only hide in the high tower. The attacks of those spirit thorn demon bees will cause soul poisoning, and serious ones will directly lose control of the soul. We have lost a lot of manpower at present. As if thinking that what he said was a bit too sensitive, the man interrupted his explanation at the right time. Then the man looked around and lowered his voice slightly. About the refining of leader-level materials. We repaired, a respectable high-level, night walker, who wants to see Mr. Wizard. Mr. Wizard, you should be very interested. Tucker immediately stood up and said. Is it the respected Mr. Gustav Walker of the Star Trek Monastery? Since he came to the Star Trek market in the underground city. Before this, Tucker had naturally made a lot of preparations about the information of the Star Trek Monastery. Seeing that the other party had guessed it, the man immediately stopped hiding anything. He nodded and said, Yes, it is Mr. Gustav Walker who wants to see you, Mr. Wizard. This is the Black Market Star Trek Market, a market controlled by the Star Trek Monastery. Not to mention werewolves and vampires. Even if the Dark Sun Bishop comes here, he must obediently abide by the rules set by the Star Trek Monastery. Therefore, he does not mind revealing his identity as a member of the Star Trek Monastery. Chapter 178 The Strong Bishop. In the extraordinary world, there are many neutral organizations. For such neutral organizations, as long as they do not carry out any sabotage activities, participate in any evil sacrificial rallies, or organize extraordinary people to carry out large-scale actions, the three-eyed God, Holy Spirit Empire will not interfere with their existence. And the Star Trek Monastery is a very famous neutral organization in the three-eyed God, Holy Spirit Kingdom. With the development of the steam wave era, the Star Trek Monastery has become increasingly powerful and has become a force that the three-eyed God, Holy Spirit Empire cannot ignore. The Star Trek Monastery believes in the great spirit of steam and railroad. This also gives them a unique advantage in the spiritual world of the extraordinary world. They also have their own unique way to obtain steam cores. This is also one of the purposes of Tucker choosing the Star Trek Monastery. Compared with other people who tend to join some mysterious organizations passively, Tucker has full autonomy to choose. Following the man named Elris, the two stopped in a wider alley behind the market. Dong dong dong. Elris knocked on the door. The fist-sized wolfhound head on the door came to life immediately. Although it was made of copper, the details were lifelike. Seeing that it was Elris and looking at Tucker beside him, the wolfhound head spoke. Lord Gustav is doing alchemy. Just say that the one coming here is a refiner, and Lord Gustav will naturally understand. Elris responded immediately. Refiner. The wolfhound head on the door turned slightly and looked at Tucker. I heard that a very powerful refiner came to our market. Is it him? Before Elris could respond. Squeak off. The wooden copper inlay door slowly opened. Behind the door was endless darkness. Come in. A voice sounded. Tucker looked around and then followed Elris inside. This entire huge castle is full of magical creatures. It is impossible to raise a magical creature so huge without hundreds of years. A strong man of this level has at least made many voyages to the extraordinary world, and even participated in the external development expeditions of the Divine Empire. It is even possible to participate in the God War. If this adult is old enough. Tucker remembered that the last God War was about 120 years ago. Passing through the curtain-like darkness. What came into view was a rather clean and tidy living room. Sofas, coffee tables, bonsai decorations, murals with Ash Gothic style, and some glassware. Inside were large-scale Ash Gothic buildings. Tucker had heard before that there was a place on the south side of the Principality of Syrians that was not illuminated by the ash sun. He admired the grotesque, abstract and distorted style of Ash Gothic style. In fact, Tucker, who fought in those houses, didn't like it very much. In addition, the more important point is, the air was filled with a strange smell of burning. Tucker knew it as soon as he smelled it. It should be that some kind of metal material and leather material produced an uncontrollable violent reaction when quenching, releasing a large amount of violent energy, causing the leather material and metal to completely shatter and become scrapped. A hazy silhouette walked out of the dark curtain on the side. Are you the godly refiner that Saint Land has been talking about recently? The voice of this dark shadow or some kind of extraordinary silhouette was particularly ethereal and melodious. Tucker, who realized it later, took off his hood and saluted the silhouette before responding. I don't know if I am the one you are talking about. But in the Saint Land market, if there is no other extraordinary person who sells second-level and third-level perfect refined materials, then it should be me. The hazy figure Gustav nodded slightly. There are many Star Trek stalls in the market of our Star Trek Monastery. You can understand that these special stalls are exclusive stalls in our market for those extraordinary alchemists, pharmacists and other extraordinary people who have strength and means and are willing to cooperate with our Star Trek Monastery. Here, we will not inquire about your identity. Whether you are a werewolf or a vampire, we will not care if you are a core member of the Dark Sun Church. We will not be prejudiced if you are a firm believer of Saint Land. Even if you are the son of the Dark Sun or the blasphemer Tucker, we will not care. As long as you are willing to open a stall here, we are willing to cooperate with you in depth and guarantee your absolute safety. Following the explanation of Gustav, a powerful sixth-order bishop, Tucker's eyes narrowed slightly. Tucker likes this chaotic neutral style, neither black nor white, and is located in the shadow layer between light and darkness. Moreover, from the tone of the other party's explanation, Tucker heard that refiners seemed to be more popular than he thought. But thinking about it carefully, Tucker gradually understood. Transcendents with a little strength and financial resources will try every means to get leader-level materials, and then use elite materials to assist. But the ferocity of leader-level materials, that is definitely a supernatural poison. The soul is out of control, the supernatural ecology is distorted, the sequence collapses, and the body is separated. Too many of these supernaturals have died on the road to promotion. At this time, the role of the top refiner is perfectly reflected. The level of the refiner's refining method determines the safety level of the supernatural who takes the material for promotion. Not to mention the danger of the leader-level materials. Just the elite-level materials can reach the safety level. It is already a refining expert level. It can already attract many supernaturals. What's more, Tucker's level of refining is far beyond safety, reaching a nearly perfect harmless level. While thinking, Tucker said slowly, "Actually, I don't lack sales channels for this kind of resources. In fact, I sell resources here more because I hope to collect the resources I need." Gustav, who heard Tucker's implication, looked at Tucker for a moment, and then spoke again. "The warehouse of the Star Trek market has also collected a lot of resources. Maybe they are what you need. Level 3, soul materials or source energy materials of the Lord of Light," Tucker said straightforwardly. After thinking for a moment, Gustav shook his head and said, "Lord-level materials are too rare. Even our market doesn't have them. The best third-level material we have now is a 39-level quasi-Lord level blue whale ocean crystal." Tucker thought quickly. Level 39 quasi-Lord ocean crystal, this is the same level as the mountain giant bear I absorbed when I was promoted to the second level. Things are good, but... Tucker raised his head and looked at Gustav, who was at the level of the 6th level bishop. "Are there any leader-level light materials?" "Yes, but the light is not very thorough," Gustav said after thinking for a while. "Tucker. The materials of the giant sun eagles that like to bask in the sun at the floating border of the Antarctic region of the world," Gustav explained. Tucker understood after the other party said that. The light materials that Tucker found at Zilur, at the dwarf Baggins, and even at the black market that Tucker himself inquired about, some of them were crystal materials of the giant sun eagle. This kind of material has the burning power of light. But it lacks the divine power. Just as Gustav said, there's light, but the light is not very thorough. But even so, Tucker only inquired about this kind of news. But he has not really got any. This kind of leader-level material with rare attributes, you buy it with money, but others will not sell it, most of them are bartered. The rarity of leader-level materials is not just a casual talk. If Tucker did not have the identity of a refiner and amazing strength, Baggins would never be willing to take out the third-level Lord-level dragon crystal material. This bishop-level strongman here is willing to take out the third-level quasi-Lord material, obviously because of Tucker's identity as a top refiner. "I need a quasi-Lord level blue whale ocean crystal and a leader-level solar giant eagle material. How much magic gold do I need?" Tucker looked at the 6th-level bishop-level strongman Gustav while thinking. Tucker needs light-related materials. But it doesn't have to have divine properties. With divine properties, Tucker can certainly better guide his angel sequence ability. If not, Tucker can borrow the angel sequence characteristics of the steam tower, and the angel sequence ability he guides will not be weak. The solar giant eagle material can be used as a backup. Free. Gustav answered Tucker's question in a calm tone. As soon as Tucker heard it, he knew that the other party was going to sell it to him in the most expensive way. "What do I need to do?" Tucker asked clearly. Gustav smiled. He began to like the extraordinary wizard and refiner in front of him who wanted to be promoted to the 3rd level. "In the next 3 months, you can sell these top-level elite materials through consignment or at the booth we have prepared for you. Our professional sales staff will help you sell these top-level elite materials. In order to ensure the height and depth of our cooperation, in every gray night cycle, you need to refine at least 2 leader-level materials. Don't worry, we will guarantee your interests. It will only be a higher proportion than what the dwarves give you." After the other party said this, Tucker vaguely understood a lot of things. Nowadays, the forces of all parties are gathering towards Saint Land. 2 days ago, the Steam Daily also reported that low-level and mid-level geniuses and elite extraordinary teams from major city-states continue to settle in Saint Land. Among these many talented extraordinary people from many city-states, there are some first-level, second-level, and third-level extraordinary people with powerful extraordinary talents. At this time, the Star Trek market in the underground city black market has news of top-level elite materials. Naturally, it will attract many extraordinary people with amazing financial resources. By then, the Star Trek market will not worry about not making money. Tucker, who has figured it out, nodded slightly. "In that case, let's have a happy cooperation." Happy cooperation. Inside the magic castle, the two formally reached a cooperation. Chapter 179, Tavern, Bandit, Lamore. Lamore Street. Except for the slightly bleak period at the beginning of the Lighthouse War, as the lighthouses of the spirit world were gradually lit, the vitality injected by foreign extraordinary people, and the local extraordinary people gradually adapted to the local war state, plus there was a certain amount of money to be made from the development of the spirit world. The entire Lamore Street became lively again. Even more than before. More and more extraordinary people came in. The disguised Tucker was getting more and more comfortable here. Especially in the past 2 days, the number of extraordinary people arriving in St. Land from outside was particularly large. Many of them were arranged here on Lamore Street. In order to recruit these foreign extraordinary people, the Lamore Street office directly hung a landing sign for the recruitment of the Spiritual World Lighthouse Garrison outside the tavern. It has the basic conditions, strength assessment, and salary and benefits for the Spiritual World garrisoning the lighthouse. The garrison of the lighthouse is not something that can be completed by 1 or 2 people, 4 or 5 people. It is hundreds of people, or even tens of thousands of people. With the main lighthouse as the core, 3 or 5 satellite lighthouses are derived from the network nodes. Fight, expel, and eliminate the polluted darkness of the dark sun. Fight against the possible attacks of the dark creatures in the spirit world, even those half-wolves and blood-bats. In reality, the layer of Saint Land is a 3-dimensional structural framework with 3 layers of structure, upper, middle and lower. Similarly, the Saint Land ecological spirit layer and the spirit layer is also a 3-dimensional framework. The difference is that the Tree Heart City in the real layer has a thick surface layer that separates the Tree Heart City and the underground city. The spirit dimension does not have such a strong defense layer. In other words, in the spirit layer, the place where the light of the spirit lighthouse cannot reach is the front line. Although Tucker did not go to the spirit layer to participate in the battle. But during this period, he also made a lot of contributions. For example, an anonymous kind-hearted businessman donated 20,000 magic gold to Lamore Street to reward those extraordinary people who fought bravely. He also donated a batch of top elite materials and ordinary materials purchased from the dwarves to help those extraordinary people in need. Although the mysterious businessman has never shown up on Lamore Street. But the legend of the mysterious rich businessman has spread in the long street of Lamore. Today, the Tree Heart Crypt Tavern was crowded. Tucker ordered a large glass of blood-tooth stone fruit wine, and there was no place to sit for a while. If you don't mind, you can come and sit here. When Tucker was about to leave the bar to find a seat under the canvas umbrella outside, a somewhat lazy voice sounded not far away. Tucker glanced over and saw Carlos, who was reading a newspaper. The duo of Amanti and Carlos, who liked to join forces in the past, now only Carlos is left. Amanti's powerful means in the undead realm, a tower defense expert. If Tucker guessed correctly, Amanti should be in the steam lighthouse, working hard on tower defense. Holding the blood-tooth stone fruit wine, he sat down opposite Carlos. Tucker didn't say anything, just tasting the fresh-tasting fruit wine. Tucker's limited contact with Carlos as Andre was the last time he fought against Carlos in a gun or dagger battle. Apart from that, there was not much contact. Tucker could not greet the other party enthusiastically, so he could only shut up. While tasting the fruit wine, Tucker quickly thought about the current situation. Tucker and the Star Trek Monastery had reached a preliminary cooperation. Tucker would regularly send the perfect elite materials for refining. Although the two parties agreed on 3 months. But Tucker estimated that it would take 1 month, at most 2 months, and then he would make a request. It would not be a big problem to get the free resources promised by the other party in advance. Even if the other party was unwilling, Tucker could wait for 3 months. At the same time, at that time, Tucker's extraordinary ecology would probably be able to complete the precipitation and transformation. Tucker estimated that at that time, even if the dwarf family did not open the dwarf family treasure, they would probably find a way to complete the transaction with Tucker. The 3rd level Lord level dragon crystal they were willing to take out must have great defects. Otherwise, how could they be willing to take it out? It is possible that the dragon crystal is older than Tucker, and it might be Tucker's grandfather, a zombie dragon crystal. Or maybe, the will of the dragon has long been deposited in it, indistinguishable from each other. The kind that will explode on the spot if you dare to take it. Otherwise, they would not be willing to take it out. The harmless material of the leader level is definitely a killer. Tucker doesn't believe they can sit still. Then, It is the crystal of the light material that seems very important at present, but not as important as imagined. If it is a material containing the power of the angel sequence characteristics. For Tucker, it may be more valuable than the Lord-level dragon crystal. But if it is just a material like the Sun Eagle, which is bright but not completely bright, it would be a wasted trip. But no matter what, the past must be past. After all, the contract has been signed. Tucker is an honest person in terms of taking advantage of the fire to rob. But before officially launching the operation of robbing the airship, Tucker must conduct a field assessment. The water is a bit deep here, and Tucker needs to explore it carefully. The worst result is that Tucker withdraws in advance. The constraints of the devil contract are just waste paper. Just signing the contract and getting this information is already a pretty good deal. Not bad. When Tucker had almost finished a blood-tooth stone fruit wine in the triangular martini glass in front of him, he finally tasted a little bit of it. Carlos, who was looking at the St. Lander Steam Daily, shook the newspaper and folded it up with great skill and put it aside. Carlos looked at Tucker and said calmly, "Powerful wizards like you are rare in Lamore. And I don't seem to have heard of a person like you in Lamore." Tucker smiled and lowered his voice. "If you are willing to show me your newspaper, I can tell you a big secret." Carlos raised his eyebrows slightly, and then pushed the newspaper in front of Tucker. Tucker shook the newspaper. Soon, Tucker found the information he wanted in today's newspaper. Huh? After exhaling lightly, Tucker folded the newspaper again and put it away. Tucker then looked at Carlos again and said in a low voice, "Actually, I'm not a resident of Lamore. Damn it." After Tucker said this, Carlos, who had been expecting a little bit of points, suddenly showed an annoyed expression. "I think you should have guessed my identity." Tucker smiled. "Yes, I guessed it, you bastards from the Black River Valley." Carlos punched the table hard. "I said why I couldn't find your information. Here, many of you guys from the Black River Valley have pretended to be residents of Lamore." Carlos said indignantly. "You are better, at least you know how to disguise your accent, while some guys don't even pretend. But this is not without benefits. At least, you have gained a powerful wizard from the Black River Valley." Tucker smiled and said, "You are going to fight for Lamore?" Carlos raised his eyebrows. "Yes, I'm going to join the Steam Lighthouse Guard of Lamore and become a mobile combat wizard." Tucker nodded. "When the time comes, I'll be a brick, and I'll be moved wherever I'm needed," Tucker said, shaking his fourth order extraordinary steam revolver, execution, with a very deterrent caliber. "This guy has been thirsty for a long time. Although I don't want to admit it, you do have the strength." Carlos nodded and asked, "Is it today?" "You can register in advance today. I'll go there when I finish the things in my hands," Tucker said. "To celebrate the addition of a powerful wizard to the Lighthouse of Light in Lamore, I'll buy you the drinks today." Carlos was rarely generous. "Then you won't go home until you're drunk tonight." Tucker laughed. Someone pushed the door open, and the wind blew up the newspaper and landed it in an empty corner. The advertisement in the small corner of the newspaper was an advertisement for recruiting airship pilots. Between the calm words, "Blood, death and disaster are quietly brewing in it." Chapter 180. Everyone in the airship is a villain. St. Lander Airport. Tucker, who came here for the first time, looked at the steam airships of various sizes with great interest. The large airships were like aircraft carriers, with a majestic and amazing size. The small airships were like ordinary RVs, with beautiful outlines. Source Energy Steam Airship. As a product of the extraordinary steam era, through a large number of flight characteristics, with source energy steam engines as the source of kinetic energy, and with wind magic arrays as the propulsion, the airship can soar into the sky for a long time. This made Tucker wonder when his magical cabin would grow to such a large size, and then he could control the magical flying cabin and fly into the sky. No one can refuse a warm cabin that can float in the wind. At the boarding corridor where people were passing through the airport, Tucker followed the flow of people and browsed the airships of the Sky Sail Chamber of Commerce not far away one by one. As he examined them, a strange light surged in the depths of Tucker's eyes. In the depths of the Sky Sail Chamber of Commerce's airship, a large number of overlapping seals were seen. Among them, there are often those terrifying, taboo seals. Not long after, Tucker took a deep breath. His fingers under the gray-white wizard robe rubbed slightly. Seal, it looks like a very powerful seal. The water this time is a bit deep. At the same time, Tucker rubbed his eyebrows. There is indeed the power of holy light inside, although it is not very clear because there are a lot of seals, barriers, and imprisonment barriers inside. But it is certain that it is a very holy and pure light attribute. While thinking, Tucker quietly entered the bathroom next to him. In an empty cubicle, Tucker walked through and left the airship port. In a corner outside the airship port, deep in an empty alley, the soul curtain shadow was hidden in the shadow of the corner. Suddenly, the soul curtain shadow came to life. Tucker, wearing a gray-white wizard robe and a hood, stepped on leather boots and walked out of the shadow corner. A thick shadow covered Tucker's cheek like a mask. Glancing at the airport not far away, Tucker was immersed in the streets where people were coming and going. Tucker thought quickly as he walked forward. Previously, in the underground black market, the mysterious man used the light materials as bait to lure Tucker into their black car. If Tucker was an ordinary steam sequence extraordinary person, and participated in this operation, he would definitely be the scapegoat, the cannon fodder. Or in other words, the scapegoat unit for sharing the subsequent hatred investigation of the Cheyenne Chamber of Commerce. Unfortunately, Tucker is not an ordinary extraordinary person. Since the other party has the light materials in his hands, Tucker does not mind signing a contract to get specific information in this regard. If the information is not very reliable, Tucker can choose not to participate in this operation, and he will not lose anything. After Tucker got the news, the first step was to investigate. If the materials transported by the Cheyenne Chamber of Commerce were just ordinary materials, Tucker would not take the risk. And the results of Tucker's investigation were even more amazing than he imagined. Not only did it have extremely strong sacred-like characteristics, but it also had the mysterious, taboo seal. This was indeed beyond Tucker's expectations. The airship doesn't look big, but there are quite a lot of people inside. There are 2 fifth-level strongmen guarding it, and more than a dozen fourth-level extraordinary people. There are more than a dozen staff members accompanying it. Bishop-level strongmen are generally not dispatched at will. 2 fifth-level strongmen guarding it is already half the power of the Dark Sun Church Temple. It is enough to see the importance of transporting resources and materials this time. Tucker's second plan is that if it is too dangerous, such as the participation of bishop-level forces, Tucker is also unlikely to participate. But at present, even if there is a bishop-level force, it will be his side. But Tucker estimated that there should be no bishop-level force. From the man recruiting steam sequence extraordinary people to share the firepower, it can be seen that they are still afraid of being investigated and hunted down. A large part of Tucker's temporary workers recruited are used to bear the interference and distraction of the subsequent divination, backtracking, inside and other means of the Cheyenne Chamber of Commerce. From this aspect, Tucker could roughly judge that the strength of this group of people was not too strong. After thinking for a while, Tucker roughly concluded, basically, you can participate. For me, the danger is not too high. The strong light characteristics have a strong sacred aura, which is of great help to my current third-level Awaken Angel sequence ability that is about to be promoted. Secondly, if such top-level materials make my sacred light foundation strong enough, the speed of comprehending the mysteries of the light rune will also be much faster. While thinking, Tucker walked towards the outside of the St. Land city-state. The border town outside. That is where many of the participating bandits gathered this time. About 2 hours later, in a remote border town far away from St. Land, a slightly old steam airship slowly took off. Woo woo woo. Accompanied by the low-end hoarse roar of steam, the old steam airship flew towards the route from St. Land to the Steam Sea City province of the East Coast non-ice port. The speed of the old airship was not fast, even a little slow. Inside the airship, Tucker, who was sitting by the window, quietly felt the steam engine of the steam airship. This old guy was in danger of running out of breath and running out of anchor at any time. Although the altitude of more than 1,000 meters would not kill everyone, those extraordinary people who did not have the ability to fly or glide would still be in trouble as the airship fell. The level and number of extraordinary people in the airship were about the same as Tucker expected. There was no power of the 6th order bishop level. The 2 5th order extraordinary people were in the lead. There were also 7 or 8 4th order extraordinary people. In addition, there were more than a dozen 3rd order extraordinary people. The comprehensive combat power was not weaker than the escort personnel of the Cheyenne Chamber of Commerce. In fact, Tucker felt that the number of extraordinary people on his side might be stronger than that of the Cheyenne Chamber of Commerce. Because This old steam airship was full of villains. Yes. At this time, the guys who got on this pirate ship, almost all of them were murderous and bloody. It can't be said that it is extremely similar to the bandit's nest. It can only be said that it is exactly the same as the bandit's nest. When Tucker looked at his thin body, the plain wizard robe, and the ordinary wizard aura, he couldn't help but sigh secretly. I often feel out of tune with you because I am not perverted enough. The skinny assassin of the 4th level who was diagonally opposite Tucker, his cheeks, skin, and even the edges of his fingers, all showed a little cold luster, and his sharp nails were like blades. The lingering blood, without hundreds of fresh lives, can't feed such cold and bloody murderous aura. Across the corridor from Tucker, there was a blood-colored battle axe on the table, and the blood was rising. The B-level wanted criminal of the Principality of Syrians, the blood axeman Connerly. This guy specifically picked nobles and wealthy businessmen to attack, and there were at least 20 to 30 wealthy businessmen who died under his axe. And opposite Tucker, the man wearing a demon mask who pulled Tack into the gang also revealed his appearance. As for whether it was the real Tucker, he was not sure. Tucker felt that this guy looked a bit like a famous B-level wanted criminal from a certain air pirate group. But it was not easy to ask directly. He couldn't just say, "Excuse me, are you the so-and-so wanted criminal with a bounty of so much magic gold?" That would be too rude. The way to respect these wanted criminals is to take off their heads first and then verify them. At this moment, boom, 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 the source energy steam engine suddenly emitted a violent low roar, and the airship shook violently. After dropping a lot of altitude, it stabilized again. Although many extraordinary people in the airship cabin breathed a sigh of relief, their faces were not very good. They came here to rob today. If the airship they were riding broke down, they would definitely become the top joke in the industry. At this moment, from the front cabin in front, a 4th level female extraordinary person wearing a black and white plaid-waisted long skirt, which made her figure particularly turbulent, came to the middle cabin angrily. "Bloodchad, look at the great airship you found. You almost made us a joke." The 4th order female supernatural walker almost pressed half of her body on the calm man opposite Tucker. "If you delay this robbery, can you bear the responsibility?" Bloodchad? When Tucker heard this name, he no longer had any doubts. And this name also perfectly confirmed Tucker's conjecture. Why are there so many wanted criminals in this airship? Why are almost all the people in this airship villains? Because this is the airship of the Sky Pirates. This time, he really got on the pirate ship. Chapter 181 The Artist of Killing. Bloodchad was attacked by the female super walker. He turned his head calmly and looked at Carney, who was half on him, and said slowly and methodically, "Carney, last time on the bed, you pressed me so hard that I couldn't breathe. If you don't restrain yourself, I don't mind letting everyone open their eyes in public." Bloodchad said so. There was a burst of laughter around. "Carney, open everyone's eyes," someone said with a sneer. "If you want to see, go find your mother." Carney spit fiercely and looked back angrily. Everyone wanted to laugh, but they were shocked by this fierce female walker on the spot. As an elite crew member of the 2nd ship of the Bloodblade Sky Pirates, Carney has really done it. She twisted the heads of ordinary crew members and kicked them off the airship like a ball. Carney stepped back and stared at Bloodchad. "Then you have to give an explanation too." "Explanation? What explanation?" "The airship sank." Bloodchad smiled. This immediately made Carney speechless. Speechless, Carney turned around and slapped him angrily. Bang! A dull sound. The unlucky guy who was slapped over fainted on the spot, and several teeth flew out. Tisk tisk. "You are worthy of being an extraordinary walker of the Earth system. This power is really amazing." Tucker praised this scene. After venting her anger, Carney glared at Bloodchad fiercely and walked towards the cabin in front. At this time, everyone in the cabin surrounded the unlucky guy who was slapped to the ground and fainted. "Are there any priests? Hurry up and give him some treatment. This guy's head is a little deformed. Hurry up and save him. We're going to lose a lot of people before the battle even starts. If there's no priest, someone who knows how to treat him will do. I have the ability to transfer damage. Can it work? Let's try it out. Hurry up. Which direction should the injury be transferred?" "Transfer it to the 2nd one. That thing is useless." Someone in the crowd said. "Damn. The injury is a bit too serious. I'm afraid his brain will be transferred out." 7 or 8 people surrounded the seriously injured guy and talked about it. At this time, The guys standing in the back who looked like new crew members or crew members on assessment were trembling when they saw this scene. They originally thought that they could make a fortune by following the Sky Pirates. Now it seems that getting rich is not necessarily possible, but sudden death is very likely. This kid can't hold on any longer. Throw him down before he dies. Someone suggested. Don't throw it away. Give me the body. He is a level 32 transcendent after all. I will summon him as a self-destructing undead. He can contribute some strength later, so it won't be considered as a premature loss of personnel. A level 4 undead wizard was eager to try. At this moment, buzz! A ray of light came down. The healing holy light was full of abundant life breath. The guy who was about to die, the collapsed cheekbone recovered quickly with a naked eye. Which bastard healing holy light didn't even say hello before releasing it. The strong holy light made the level 4 undead wizard squeeze into the crowd, and the exasperated voice roared. Soon, the guy who had walked around the line of death came back to life. But in the current situation, I'm afraid it's just a matter of living a little longer. As Tucker slowly restrained his holy light healing technique, Blood Charlie, who had never spoken, set his eyes on Tucker. At the same time, several eyes around him also gathered on Tucker. Blood Chad, you haven't introduced this friend yet. With his nails slightly interlaced and his fiery nature spurting out, Sharp looked at Tucker, one of the many new crew members, with interest. I'm just an ordinary wizard, Tucker said in a soothing tone. I'll leave after I get what I need. Of course, if you can tell me. Tucker paused and looked at Blood Chad across from him carefully. At this time, Tucker had completely understood. Originally, Tucker thought that the other party was either after money or life, or that the other party wanted to use a group of people as cannon fodder to disperse the firepower. He never expected that the other party would actually plot against his body. Why did you win me over? Or, how did you see that I was a steam wizard and confirm my strength? Perhaps I can tell you more about the situation and information inside the Cheyennefin Merchants Association's airship. Tucker's words immediately made all the elite crew members around, senior crew members, and those new crew members who were not sure if they could survive the robbery, look over. Hey, Chad, this wizard, he doesn't seem to know your magical powers yet, Sharp said with a smile. And Blood Chad sat up straight and spoke seriously. Mr. Wizard, you made a big mistake. I admit that I had some thoughts in this regard at the beginning. But after I carefully examined your excellency the wizard, those few thoughts were directly dissipated, and dissipated completely. Then, I wanted to make friends with you. First, I can't see through your excellency the wizard's true level. Your methods are admirable in this regard. Second, as you said, many extraordinary people died at the hands of your excellency the wizard. Even, many strong people died in your hands. The powerful, death aura, around you is the perfect testimony of your strength. To be honest, I can see the death aura deposited around the extraordinary people. You can understand it is a very rare and special talent. The death aura of many people has penetrated into the flesh, bones, and even souls. In other words, although they appear cruel, the killing, death, wailing, and screaming will still touch them, and will still leave some traces in their hearts, and then let the death aura affect them. Your Excellency, Wizard, you have more death energy around you than anyone else here. But, those death energy cannot touch you at all. In fact, those death energy is afraid of your Excellency. Influence? Not at all. Life is like grass in your eyes. No, not even grass. And death is in your hands. We are just clumsy butchers. Your Excellency, Wizard, you are the real killing artist. It's a waste of talent for a killing artist like you not to be a sky pirate. As Blood Chad's words came to an end, pa pa pa, crisp applause followed. There were also footsteps. In the passage from the front cabin to the rear cabin, a vampire sequence transcendent slowly emerged. A very exquisite speech. This 5th-level vampire sequence transcendent had slightly gray hair on his temples, but his blood-colored pupils were exceptionally clear. He did not hesitate to praise him. And this wizard, Mr., is indeed, as Bloody Chad said, an artist of killing. In the art of killing, I don't think I am his opponent. The captain of the second ship of the Bloodblade Sky Island group, the Blood Clan sequence Count Abraham. Looking at this Blood Clan sequence strong man, Tucker also identified the other party's true identity. Abraham, once the top A-level extraordinary genius of Saint Land, the steam assassin. He's known as the most recent S-level extraordinary genius. It is rumored that his family has a blood curse and his lifespan will not be too long. Because of this incident, this genius had a falling out with the St. Land Tower. Then he fled from the St. Land Tower. When he appeared again, he was already a steam vampire sequence extraordinary person. And his identity is no longer a genius of the St. Land Tower, but a member of the Bloodblade Sky Pirates. Although he is a member of the Bloodblade Sky Pirates, he has been extremely cruel to many chambers of commerce. But he will not kill the genius of the St. Land Tower. The second ship of the Bloodblade Sky Island group where Abraham was located had captured many students from the St. Landers Tower. These students would be severely beaten by Abraham and then let go. This is a captain of the Sky Pirate group with a very unique personal style. At the same time, he is also an amazingly powerful steam sequence. His strength is not weaker than that of an ordinary bishop. Tucker didn't expect that he was just a simple robbery. As a result, he got on the pirate ship unknowingly. He also met an old senior from more than 10 years ago. And he was still a very famous old senior. For a while, Tucker felt that things in the world are impermanent. Chapter 182 An Unethical Sneak Attack. Originally, those senior crew members were a little dissatisfied when they saw the newly arrived wizard sitting with their first mate. But at this time, the captain seemed to value this new extraordinary person. Listening to what the captain and the first mate said, it seemed that this wizard was a genius wizard of the steam sequence. Suddenly, everyone was excited. Having such a talent join the air pirate group. Although most of the crew members will have a status of -1, it will be a huge help to the entire team. If Mr. Wizard doesn't mind, we can go to the front to discuss in detail. Abraham invited Tucker. After carefully feeling it and confirming that the other party had no ill intentions and that he could leave at any time, Tucker nodded slightly. The room in the front cabin is much wider than the middle cabin. The huge crystal glass can observe the outside world to a greater extent. In the future, I will also install such a large area of transparent barriers. The effect of the crystal source wall can perfectly form this kind of barrier glass. Observing the structure here, Tucker thought secretly. I don't know Mr. Wizard's name yet. After sitting down on the sofa, Abraham asked in a gentle voice. Andre. Tucker said simply. I hope you don't mind that Blood Chad rashly wants to pull you into the gang. Abraham crossed his fingers and showed a serious attitude. After all, we are robbers. You can't expect him to visit and send an invitation to Mr. Wizard. If you want to leave, you can leave at any time. We won't restrict you in any way. If you want to join us, the Bloodfront Sky Pirates welcome you to join at any time. Of course, I hope Mr. Wizard can complete this mission. Tucker thought for a moment before speaking slowly. I don't mind the way Blood Chad does things. If it weren't for my greed, I wouldn't board this airship. Since I'm here, it proves that I'm not a clean guy. So I will definitely work hard to complete this mission. Tucker spread his hands and smiled. As for joining the air pirate group, I also like this kind of unrestrained and free life. But I have a lot of things to do in St. Land. If you don't mind, you can treat me as a non-staff member. While keeping in touch, I can still participate in the operations near St. Land. When I leave St. Land in the future, maybe I will enjoy this wonderful air pirate journey. If it was a simple air pirate group, Tucker would go ashore directly after doing this job and would not have too much contact with them. But this Bloodfront Air Pirate group is obviously not a pure air pirate group. It is more like a Black Glove with a certain amount of St. Land power. Black Glove Air Pirate Group. Black Glove Sea Demon Ship. In today's steam wave, it is too normal. Tucker's words immediately made Abraham laugh. No problem at all. We can talk about this in detail later. At this point, Abraham looked back. Just now, you said that you knew about the situation and information inside the Cheyenne Chamber of Commerce's airship. Can you tell me more about it? After all, the Cheyenne Chamber of Commerce's airship is almost here. Tucker did not look back, but quickly began to talk. There are a lot of sealing devices in their airship, and it is obvious that there are powerful seals inside. Abraham nodded immediately. We came here for the seal this time. Sure enough. Tucker was more and more certain that the Bloodblade Sky Pirates group was related to the St. Lander Tower. Otherwise, how could this Sky Pirate group know such detailed and accurate intelligence information about the Cheyenne Chamber of Commerce? Then Tucker continued. At the same time, the airship also has a very strong barrier. Once we launch an attack on it, it will immediately activate a powerful barrier protection. The strength of the protection is at least a bishop-level rune barrier, and the defense is no weaker than the tower barrier. It is very difficult to break through. Once we get into a tough battle, I'm afraid we will face failure in this air battle. Let's not talk about the strength of the extraordinary people on both sides. Let's say our airship is targeted by the opponent's spellcasters. I'm afraid it will fall down. Tucker said so. Abraham immediately looked across the cubicle. Doctor, what do you think? I have indeed observed that there is a strong barrier in it through the source energy telescope. A rather hoarse and old voice responded to Abraham's inquiry. This doctor is the second fifth-level extraordinary person that Tucker saw in the airship before. If we still follow the previous plan, I'm afraid that only we will fall down. Is there any good way? Abraham asked again. The old and hoarse voice pondered for a long time before speaking. It seems that we can only fight hand to hand now. I will open the portal at that time, and you will rush in quickly. Although the battle will be extremely fierce. But as long as we kill those two fifth-level extraordinary people, there is still a high probability of winning. After all, this airship, not our sky magic ship. Abraham nodded while thinking. It seems, this is the only way. At this time, Tucker spoke slowly. In fact, the airship of the Sky Sail Chamber of Commerce still has a big problem. Huh? When Tucker said this, not only Abraham looked over, but even the fifth-level doctor old man beside him looked over. The characteristic of the fifth-level doctor's strange inside eye seems to have the ability to look down. What do you mean? Abraham looked at Tucker and asked. Tucker said in a soothing tone. If our airship is close enough, about 100 meters, I can directly attack from the spirit world and blow up the opponent's energy steam engine. That airship is not the magic flying cabin. The magic flying cabin can fly by itself without the energy steam engine. And once the energy steam engine of the airship is scrapped, it will fall quickly. As long as we break the energy steam engine and let them fall, their barrier will not be able to be built. Then we will take the opportunity to attack. We will definitely win a great victory. Tucker said so. Abraham's face was full of smiles. The energy steam engine is a place that every airship strictly protects. Especially this kind of Chamber of Commerce spacecraft that transports resources, it is the top priority to be protected. But this crew member Andre, who just stepped half a foot on the ship, actually has such a powerful method. The attack of the spirit world is not a level that ordinary people can touch? If that's the case, that's great. Abraham nodded carefully and looked at Tucker. Then you prepare to attack. I'll notify the spellcasters behind to prepare. At the same time, Dr. Stanley, you also prepare corresponding spell attacks and try to catch them off guard. Understood. The old voice came slowly. It was a gray day. As we left St. Land, the gray sky curtain gradually dissipated. The number of airships on the route gradually decreased. Tucker, who was by the glass window, looked at the airship of the Sky Sail Chamber of Commerce that was gradually approaching from behind, and then set his sights on the location of St. Land behind. When I was in Lamore before, I felt that the distance to the development zone was quite far when I was about 60 or 70 kilometers away, and the development banes could be cut off at any time. Now, it's about 100 kilometers away from St. Land. I can still maintain a stable development link. My own level improvement and the energy radiation range of the anchoring area determine the range of my activities in the development zone. In general, it's still very good. Thinking about it, Tucker turned his eyes and looked at the airship of the Sky Sail Chamber of Commerce that was getting closer and closer. At the same time, in the spiritual realm, Tucker's spiritual hand grew to the size of 2 doors as the airship moved forward. In a powerful ecosystem like St. Land, the spiritual realm is calm, stable, safe, and easy to enter. In the non-world ecosystem, the spiritual realm is like a deep sea with surging waves. Not only is it difficult to enter, but even if you enter it, you will be caught in a deep undercurrent if you are not careful, and thus lose your way, or even die in the exile of the spiritual world. Even a mid-level extraordinary person would not dare to enter the spiritual realm easily. At this time, Tucker's spiritual hand followed Tucker steadily in the spiritual realm, where it was easy to get lost and sink. Almost. His eyes condensed slightly. Phase projection. The spiritual hand of the spiritual realm, which was still at Tucker's position a moment ago, tore the barrier between reality and the spiritual world directly in the next moment, and slammed into the huge source energy steam engine of the Cheyenne Chamber of Commerce. Boom! The huge roar shook the hearts of many guards of the Cheyenne Chamber of Commerce. Before they could react to what happened, kill them all. rob all their resources. Ha ha ha. Saint Land's bastards. The murderous and ferocious Bloodblade Sky Pirates had already launched the sneak attack they had planned for a long time. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 183 Ecological Magic Network. Even if Tucker could destroy the energy steam engine of the Skysail Chamber of Commerce and make the merchant ship of the Skysail Chamber of Commerce fall, the members of the Bloodfront Sky Island group would obviously not let them fall directly. Instead, they would continue to increase the strength of the guards in the merchant ships. They would take their lives while they were sick. At worst, they could directly destroy their psychological defense line. In this way, they would be able to clean up the battlefield better when they landed on the ground. As Tucker blew up the energy steam engine of the airship, a huge roar swept the sky with leaden clouds. Dr. Stanley also opened the jumping gate at the same time. The jumping gate is a 3-star rune sorcery. By anchoring the level of distant objects, it opens the doorway in 2 positions. With one jump, you can easily travel hundreds or even hundreds of meters. The normal jumping gate is deposited in the wizard's own ecology. The wizard can jump away at any time. At the same time, the jumping gate can also be anchored on the inside of the wizard's robe. In case of danger, a wizard robe can be swept away and the robe can be left behind to escape, which is also an excellent method. And this 5th level Dr. Stanley obviously has a very high level of sorcery attainment in this jumping gate. Not only can it form a large area of irregular jumping gates, but it can also be perfectly anchored at 2 positions where the action is relatively dynamic in space. Although the space ring rune used by the other party covered its own source power fluctuations, Tucker could still guess that this Dr. Stanley should have comprehended the mystery of the space rune. Such a powerful wizard is undoubtedly the backbone of the team. Soon, a large number of extraordinary people from the air pirate group boarded the merchant ship of the Cheyannefin Chamber of Commerce. The sound of the battle could be heard fiercely and clearly at a distance of hundreds of meters. From time to time, a large area of the cabin suddenly bulged out, or a certain part was directly blown out by a weapon with a hole that was not small. After finishing his main work, Tucker did not rest, but was on guard. What Tucker didn't expect was that this group of air pirates had a tendency to be unstoppable. They fought with intent but without intent. And Tucker was the first to blow up the opponent's airship's steam engine. In this battle, their airships were going to explode. In addition, the bandits of the air pirates were born to do this. For a time, many of the guards of the Cheyannefin Chamber of Commerce were taken away by the air pirates. It was not until the 2 5th-level extraordinary people took action that the situation was barely stabilized. But with Abraham, a 5th-level steam sequence strong man, taking the lead, the balance of victory has begun to tilt towards Tucker. Abraham, a Steam Blood Clan sequence, is really fierce. Even Tucker was secretly shocked when he saw it. It is worthy of being the genius of the St. Lander Tower that is closest to the S level. But Tucker still dared not underestimate it. Several witchcrafts are initially accumulating power in the ecological magic network of the wizard ecology. In case of emergency. During this period of time, Tucker studied in the Thornflower Magic Tower. He paid a lot of magic gold to many tower instructors for in-depth learning. Money makes the world go round, and this also applies to this extraordinary world. After learning about some of Tucker's abilities and methods, these instructors also gave Tucker similar opinions and suggestions. That is, Tucker needs to build his own ecological magic network as soon as possible. The ecological magic network is a key link in the ecology of the wizard sequence. This has been proven by many temple colleges in the three-eyed god Holy Spirit Empire. The ecological magic network is not only a key node to accelerate the ecological cycle and stability. At the same time, the ecological magic network is also the key to the function of the Rune Mystery World Tower. Originally, Tucker planned to ask Blank for information about these aspects. But Tucker still underestimated the role of magic gold. After continuous learning and showing a certain amount of financial resources. During the process of learning, Tucker occasionally asked a few times. Those instructors also revealed information about the Rune World Tower to Tucker very straightforwardly. The Rune World Tower is something that only mid-level extraordinary people can touch. At the same time, it requires the guidance of the power of the deep origin to complete the initial construction. It is necessary to listen to the voice of the rune mystery of the largest ecology in which the extraordinary person lives, in order to have the hope of building his own rune world tower. In other words, listen to the voice of the world. Well, a rather abstract description. But Tucker vaguely understands it. Compared with the construction of the rune world tower, at a longer distance, the construction of the ecological magic network has an immediate effect on Tucker. And this is also the focus of Tucker's practice during this period. After a few months of study, Tucker has now initially constructed the simplest wizard ecological magic network. Ecological magic network. The first function, speeding up the deep circulation of Tucker's own wizard ecology. Tucker can deliver power to every corner of the wizard ecology more quickly, more meticulously, and more intelligently. For example, when Tucker is polluted again, Tucker can directly invest the power of light into the ecological magic network. The ecological magic net will automatically deliver the power of light to polluted places. The second function, in the use of spells, it has the characteristics of multiple tracks. Normally, Tucker has 2 magic rings. He can hold 2 spells at most. But with the ecological magic net, Tucker can hold 7 or 8 spells at the same time. When releasing, he can choose any one to release. And because the source energy of the spell itself has been prepared in advance by the ecological magic net, when it is released, it will be faster than the normal casting guide. This allows Tucker to deal with various complex situations at any time. Generally speaking, the construction of the ecological magic net is still relatively difficult. It requires a high enough and detailed control of the ecology. At the same time, it is necessary to have a precise and detailed talent in the construction of the magic network. This is exactly Tucker's strength. Even though Tucker secretly prepared witchcraft and was always ready to fight. But thanks to Tucker's hammering of the source energy steam engine of the opponent's airship, plus Abraham's strong strength, and Dr. Stanley's delivery, this wave of sneak attacks is perfect. There were continuous explosions inside the airship, and the airship guards kept dying. Finally, the 2 5th-level extraordinary people finally couldn't hold on. The 5th-level knight broke through the airship wall directly. His face was covered with blood, and even one of his eyeballs exploded. Amid the roar of steam, the steam knight quickly changed to a griffin mount, and then fled away on his mount. The 5th-level knight should be able to accommodate 4 steam cores. But the 5th-level knight who escaped only accommodated and absorbed 1 steam core, and his own steam sequence strength was not too high. But it was barely considered a steam knight. The assassin was much more straightforward. In the air, while sitting in free fall, he kept fitting in with the wind and waves, like a gliding bird. The 5th-level extraordinary people, the extraordinary state began to take shape. Physical damage could not cause fatal injuries to them. It was still difficult to stop them from escaping. At the beginning, Tucker and Andre joined forces to summon the power of the great demon-hunting Holy Spirit. During the blood sacrifice of the small world, the 2 5th-level extraordinary people of the Dark Sun Church both survived for more than an hour. The 5th-level extraordinary people are much more powerful than those intermediate 4th-level extraordinary people in all aspects. As the 2 5th-level extraordinary people escaped, the other 4th-level extraordinary people also entered a state of collapse. Most of the surviving airship guards jumped off the airship and tried to escape. And many bandits also jumped out of the airship. When the bandits jumped off the airship, almost all of them prepared gliding-type extraordinary props. Unlike those airship guards, they jumped off and sat in free fall. Soon, the airship with black smoke in many places began to accelerate diagonally downward. Not long after, boom, the airship plunged into the earth like a giant beast in the sky. The dull sound of the collision, accompanied by the shaking of the earth, swept across the entire wasteland. Chapter 184. Hurry up. Move everything away within half an hour. These merchant ships have been attacked, and Saint Land will soon send a flying speedboat to investigate the situation. By then, there may be bishop-level power coming. Be quick, don't be fussy like a woman. In a vast wasteland stone forest, Zuchade loudly ordered the members of the Sky Island group to clean up the battlefield. As an air pirate group, they knew very well that the efficiency of robbery determined their safety. The faster the better. Before the enemy's reinforcements arrived, they would sweep away all the things and then erase all traces. In this way, they could escape safely. The enemy could not track them down even if they wanted to. Even when the enemy was still tracking them, they had already run to the tavern in the border town and started drinking. Those new members who survived a sky robbery had been promoted to senior members at this time. Together with the original senior members, they quickly moved the things out of the ruins of the smoking and burning airship. The elite members were responsible for patrolling and collecting important resources. The collector of all these resources was Dr. Stanley. With so many resources, there must be a magic hut. Otherwise, it would be impossible to take them away. Dr. Stanley placed his magic hut in an ancient tree near the wreckage of the airship. A magic door opened from the crack in the bark. The members of the Sky Pirates kept carrying resources back and forth, sending them into Dr. Stanley's magic hut. Tucker silently examined the members of the Sky Pirates. Although all the members of the Sky Pirates were murderous and behaved like tough guys, the division of labor between them was very clear. As the main captain and elite member, they took on the main battle. Although the ordinary crew members were not directly used as cannon fodder to bear damage on the front line, they had to bear all the hard work in the Sky Pirates. As ordinary crew members who also needed to participate in the battle, if they were not strong enough, they would easily be affected and killed by unknown AoE during the battle. The work of the Sky Pirates is not something that everyone can do. Just as Tucker was thinking about it, footsteps sounded. When Tucker looked over, Abraham was walking over with a box that exuded a strong sacred aura. This is your due reward. If you hadn't directly destroyed their source energy steam engine, this battle wouldn't have been so easy. Easy. Tucker raised his eyebrows. Tucker remembered that nearly 1/3 of the ordinary crew members were killed or injured. Even the elite crew members were all injured. As if sensing Tucker's doubts, Abraham smiled and explained. As long as the elite members are not dead, it is an easy battle. Then this is really a high-risk job. Tucker had a deeper understanding of the Sky Pirates' profession of licking blood on the knife edge. Higher risk is also high return. Take this for example. Abraham shook the box in his hand. At least it is worth 20,000 to 30,000 magic gold. 20,000 to 30,000 magic gold. Tucker raised his eyebrows slightly. Although the aura of light is very strong and the aura of holiness is very pure, it shouldn't be priced so high. You'll know when you open it yourself. After saying that, Abraham put the box in Tucker's hand. Tucker did not open the box, but used the puppet thread to probe into the box, and then used touch perception. Not long after, Tucker nodded gently and said, "It seems to be worth 20,000 or 30,000 magic gold, which is quite a good harvest." The cautiousness of the Steam Wizard Genius junior student of the St. Lander Tower made Abraham think more highly of him. Whether it was his own friendly and harmonious performance or the friendly negotiations between Dr. Stanley and him before, he did not let the other party down at all. This junior student always treated everything around him in his own way. He would not be easily affected by external factors. Even before, after the other party learned about Bloodchad's fishing behavior, he also treated it calmly. He is young, but very cunning. Moreover, he has a natural indifference to fighting and killing. I don't know which tower this steam genius is from. As far as I know, many geniuses have been born in the St. Land Tower during this period. The steam swordsman Blank traveled with the blasphemer Tucker to the tomb of the demon King Lamor. He fought a desperate battle with the son of the Dark Sun. He broke through the desperate situation and comprehended the rune sword code at the 19th level. He became the most outstanding genius swordsman in St. Land in the past 10 years, without a doubt. He comprehended the rune sword code at the 19th level. This talent is indeed terrifying. After returning, he was directly given a steam core by the tower and cultivated into a steam swordsman on the spot. It is said that Blang has been the focus of training for such a long time. There is a trend that she is regarded as the representative of the next generation of extraordinary swordsmen. Steam Knight, Ziller, a disciple of Count Lamor. She inherits Lamor's will. To be honest, it was a bit unexpected that she followed the will of Lamor instead of the blasphemer Tucker. Well, when I left, I heard that the Steam Knight Ziller had a vision of boiling blood. She found her own way. This Ziller has a bright future. The Steam Walker Christ. It is said that this guy discovered the shadow traces of the blasphemer Tucker. This Andre obviously has the ability of the Walker to travel, and it is possible that he is Christ. Moreover, this guy's wizard robe is tattered, only the 2nd level, and you can tell at a glance that it was taken from someone else and put on himself as a disguise. The light and dark wizard Hedith masters the dual sequence power of light and darkness, and the shadow is always with him. This guy likes to use the power of shadow the most. Could it be Edith? There is a probability. And there is the well-known double S-level extraordinary talent of Saint Lander, Tucker Lawmore. Could this guy be Tucker Lawmore? After thinking for a while, even Abraham himself laughed. Everyone looks like him. I'm crazy about him. It may not be these top geniuses. Other shadow geniuses are not possible. Today's Saint Rand is really full of geniuses. The power of the entire Celians is converging on Saint Rand. The power of the king's crown is being delivered. I wonder if the news from the East Continent is true. If it is true, it would be very interesting. Soon, our world will be lively. Anyway, at least. The tide of the times will surge in our world. Become a trendsetter of the times, or become a corpse swept into the deep sea by the undercurrent. That depends on this offensive and defensive battle of Saint Rand. Looking at Abraham, who was silently examining the ruins of the airship, Tucker on the side gradually withdrew his gaze. Although Tucker showed a little joy. But in fact, the joy in his heart was far more than that. Because, inside the box, there was a very rare amulet of the Church of Light with an angel form. It contained a very strong divine light characteristic. More importantly, it actually contained a certain amount of angel sequence, extraordinary characteristic precipitation power. And this is exactly what Tucker urgently needs. For Tucker, this is simply a perfect promotion material. It can be called a perfect reinforcement. After storing the box into his extraordinary storage bracelet, Tucker breathed a sigh of relief. Faintly, Tucker could see that a powerful angel power was waving to him. Chapter 185 Horrible. Saint Land. Soulfire Rock Area. In a quiet and hot rental cabin. On the small wooden table, there is a bronze three-headed candlestick, and the three candles are black, translucent, and white. On the left side of the three candlesticks are flowers from the spirit world, placed in silver vessels. On the right side, there is a paper stained with Tucker's blood. A magical spirit walking in the great three-eyed god, Holy Gaia, Pan Plane, Spirit Blue Star Sea, an extraordinary Holy Spirit Kingdom. A free man belonging to the ecology of the Augu binary stars. A neutral and friendly creature that abides by order. I am your friendly friend and an indispensable companion on your journey. Listen to my call. As Tucker chanted the more difficult and restrictive spell ritual. In the ritual fire mirror where the three candles gathered. One by one, figures kept passing by. Some were powerful and majestic. Some were weak and their whereabouts were hidden. Some walked hurriedly and were glimpsed. But Tucker was not in a hurry, just waiting quietly. At this time, the ceremony Tucker performed was the Magic Messenger contract ceremony to establish friendship, equality, and harmonious coexistence. Yes, Tucker was summoning his own Magic Messenger. And the ceremony was taught to Tucker by Stan Lee, the half-teacher of Abraham, the second captain of the Bloodblade Sky Pirates. 3 days ago, Tucker played a cameo as an air pirate and stole the airship of the Sky Sail Chamber of Commerce with Abraham and others. After the airship went south for dozens of kilometers, Tucker and Dr. Stan Lee worked together to solve the possible exploration traces. Tucker got up and left the Sky Pirates. In addition to getting the most important light material containing the characteristics of the angel sequence, Tucker learned a lot of useful things from Stan Lee. For example, the Magic Messenger contract ceremony that Tucker was performing in front of him. Normally, spellcasters living in the city-state will build their own magic fireplace. And with the vein connection of the magic network of the city-state steam tower and steam lighthouse, Magic Messenger is basically not needed. However, as the owner of the magic hut, the Magic Messenger is very necessary. Many times, the extraordinary people will be in a very remote place, or even no longer in the extraordinary world. At this time, with a Magic Messenger plus Magic Hut, the communication with the outside world will not be interrupted. For example, Tucker is sailing outside. He can also write to several mentors of the Thornflower Magic Tower to consult some relevant content. Even if Tucker needs the help of some companions, he can also write letters to shake people. Even if the Magic Messenger is strong enough, it is also possible to send express within the same world. As the Magic Messenger contract ceremony continued, the three candles were also burning rapidly. But in the ritual fire mirror, there were constantly figures passing by. But no figure stopped. For a while, Tucker doubted his talent in summoning. To deal with those magic wolves, Tucker could still force the melon to be not sweet, but it would quench his thirst. But for the neutral, equal, and friendly creatures in the Magic Messenger dimension, once Tucker did this, Then, in the field of mysticism, magic messenger, in the three-eyed god, holy Gaia, Panplane, spirit blue star sea, and supernatural Holy Spirit kingdom, Tucker will naturally be hated. You know, this is the contract that the great three-eyed god made with a layer dimension when he created the balance of the world. Just when Tucker was a little annoyed because his summoning talent was not strong enough. SHH. The flames of the 3 sacrificial candles went out directly. What's going on? Tucker, who didn't have much knowledge of supernatural mysticism, was slightly startled. Just when Tucker wanted to go forward to check, sticky, wet, depressed, and dull feelings gathered from all directions. Even the ground became wet and even began to accumulate water. Tucker wiped the ground. The accumulated water on the ground gurgled. Tucker looked out. It was pitch black outside the window. Even within Tucker's sight, the dimension of the layer became blurred. Tick, tick. Then, a drizzle of rain fell, dripping on Tucker's body, dripping into Tucker's steam wizard ecology, and even, dripping into the depths of Tucker's soul. With a drizzle, Tucker's hut began to shake rhythmically. Boom, boom, boom. It felt as if the lonely hut on the wilderness was lit up. The towering beast approached step by step. It didn't even need the beast to attack actively. It only needed the beast's steps to get closer. It was enough to shatter the hut in the wilderness. Boom. When the soles of the feet intersected with the earth, the footsteps stopped abruptly. 1, 2, 3. Dozens, hundreds of densely packed tentacles soaked in brown and black. They penetrated Tucker's hut from all directions and spread towards Tucker. Fortunately, Tucker had removed the power of the barrier before the ceremony. Otherwise, this powerful, magic messenger, whose true appearance Tucker could not even see, would use force to open the door. Tucker was not sure if he could leave his body intact. Well, messengers are neutral and friendly creatures, so violent dismantling should not be, right? A large number of tentacles stopped around Tucker. Tucker took a deep breath, calmed the waves in his heart, and took out the magic letter that he had prepared long ago, as well as the magic card that Dr. Stanley had given Tucker to anchor his own magic fireplace. Deliver this letter to the location of this magic fireplace. Following Tucker's instructions, the tentacles of this powerful, magic messenger, that was summoned, rolled Tucker's magic letter and the fireplace magic card into the tentacles. After the tentacles hovered around for a while, they also rolled away the bronze 3-headed candlestick on the ritual platform. Obviously, the 3-headed candlestick was the escape fee of this powerful, magic messenger. Boom, boom, boom. Accompanied by the rumbling sound, it went away. The light outside the window gradually returned, and Tucker gradually returned to reality from the bizarre and mysterious scene. The originally damp, depressing, and dull environment also disappeared. The ground was as dry as ever, and even the light from the furnace core fire outside the window was still dancing in the house along the glass. Push open the door. Approach the balcony. Watch the lively and noisy and real everything outside. Huh? Tucker let out a long breath. This powerful creature in the field of mysticism is indeed amazingly powerful. Now I can't even glimpse its true appearance. It's true that the talent is high, but it's only when the talent is brought into play at a higher level that it can be considered truly powerful. A genius who has not grown up is just a genius, not a strong person. The amulet containing the characteristics of the angel sequence has been obtained. The next step is the ocean crystal of the underground black market Star Trek monastery and the dragon crystal of the dwarf family. But before that, I need to increase my steam, origin spiritual state talent to 2000%. Theoretically, this is the ceiling level of SSS level talent. What will happen after breaking this ceiling? Step by step, while collecting the other 2 resources, slowly increase the talent of the steam, origin spiritual state to 1990%. After fully adapting, make the final 2000% breakthrough. This way, we can better deal with some possible abnormal situations. Just as Tucker felt the baking of the furnace core fire path and felt the reality of St. Rand, the magic fireplace in the house lit up with a crash. A magic letter flew from the magic flame to the coffee table. The invisible rune hand picked up the letter, and the initial perception blossomed. It was a letter from Baggins. After carefully examining it, Tucker smiled softly. The dwarf family finally received news. And it was quite good news. After reading it, Tucker returned to the house. After a while, Tucker completed the barrier ceremony and reinjected the power of the barrier into the barrier of the rental cabin. During this period, there have been many battles in the spirit world, and it is getting more and more intense. Tucker used the barrier to isolate the cabin from the spirit world. Even if there is a large-scale battle, it will not affect Tucker. Chapter 186. Ling. 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 The dense and intertwined forging hammers, extraordinary weapons and extraordinary armors intersected with a forging sound, like a river of musical notes in the dense source energy steam. Finally, it merged into the steam lighthouse not far away and resonated with it. The dwarf stone forging and the steam tower light completed the ecological cycle through the resonance of steam source energy. This scene made Tucker, who was waiting in the backyard of Baggins' shop, understand a little. If my ecological magic net is not activated, it can interact with a spell sequence in the ecology with a steam wizard sequence as the core. Then, my ecological magic net will be in an active cycle at all times. This is much better than me actively urging it to complete the cycle. The cycle of the characteristics of the Demon King sequence that I have absorbed and comprehended from the place where the Demon King Lamore was sealed can be used in this regard. The internal cycle is equivalent to a Demon King sequence, although it is only in the form of a magic net. But the strength will be much stronger than a simple ecological magic net. After all, the wizard ecological magic net is just a cycle of source energy and the wizard's own power. And, once the Demon King sequence ecology is nurtured in it, what is circulated is not just source energy, but the wizard's own extraordinary characteristics are also contained in it. The difficulty of constructing the Demon King ecology is still very high. But with my SSS level extraordinary talent, there is still a great hope of success in slowly constructing it. Once successful, it will be of great help to my wizard ecology. Even, I can strengthen the characteristics of my steam wizard ecology through the cycle of the Demon King sequence. Feeling the accumulation, learning, mastering, and sedimentation of knowledge in the past, which is now gradually starting to play a role, Tucker smiled softly. The path of a wizard is to learn, accumulate, master, and explore continuously. Combined with one's own means and abilities, constantly open up, advance, climb higher levels on the road of the extraordinary sequence, and finally ascend to the Master's Hall. Just as Tucker was thinking about it, there was a fluctuation in the band of Baggins' living room not far away. Tucker immediately gathered his mind. After receiving Baggins' magic letter, Tucker had lunch and rushed over slowly. After realizing that Baggins was receiving guests, Tucker waited quietly in the courtyard. Squeak. As the door opened, a tall and upright St. Land nobleman walked out with light and rhythmic steps. He wore a black wide-brimmed hat, a well-tailored brown suit, a silver chain pocket watch on his chest, and a red bloodwood ceremonial staff. Even the staggered steps and the tapping of the cane were very elegant. The etiquette of the nobility was completely ingrained in his bones. I'll leave that document to Lord Baggins. The nobleman slightly pinched the brim of his hat and nodded to Baggins. Don't worry, Lord Earl, it's my honor to serve you. Since the family council has agreed, there won't be any mistakes here. Baggins, who is always rude, also pretended to learn the aristocratic accent at this time, but his voice was too rough and his movements were a little funny. The nobleman called Earl Lawrence by Baggins turned and left. As for Tucker on the side, the Earl and noble lord didn't even look at him. After Earl Lawrence left completely, Baggins suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. Tucker in the corner, his eyes were slightly fixed. The steam sequence has amazing pressure and absorbs some special soul power at the same time. It vaguely has two powerful extraordinary sequence characteristics. What a strong fourth level Earl. In addition, during this period, there are many strong people gathered in St. Land. Tucker thought secretly. During this period, Tucker had met many powerful extraordinary people in the tavern on Lamore Street. And today, the fourth level Earl he met was even more powerful. Just when Tucker was about to say hello, but he saw Baggins turned around and walked into the house. When did the forging master not need vision? Tucker said lightly. At this time, Baggins suddenly looked at where Tucker was. Brother Andre. After the tone of his voice suddenly rose, Baggins thought of something and quickly lowered his voice. Come in. Entering the house, Baggins quickly activated the ban. Then he let out a long sigh and laughed. Brother Andre, our family council has agreed to give you the third level Lord level Dragon Crystal in advance. And in exchange, you must help our family refine 2-liter level materials in each ash cycle, and both must be guaranteed to be safe and harmless. Of course, You will get the reward you deserve. No problem. Tucker nodded. Tucker came here today for this matter. After thinking for a while, Tucker added, but leader level materials are limited to 4th level and below. Baggins laughed loudly after hearing this. Even if you, Brother Andre, want to refine higher level leader level materials, it may be difficult to find them. Those rare materials are too rare. The 4th level is already in the category of intermediate extraordinary beings. The number of such extraordinary creatures is small in itself. In addition, humans have been killing them for many years. Nowadays, it is rare to see a living 4th level leader. While groping in the storage bracelet, Baggins quickly began to tell the story. This time, the family meeting agreed to it because of the help of the Earl Lawrence just now. Oh. Tucker looked outside and then smiled. It's too late to thank him now. Of course, these big guys don't care about the gratitude of small people like us. If extraordinary geniuses like you, Brother Andre, are considered small people, then guys like us who only know how to carry hammers are probably not even ants. The family of this Earl Lawrence is powerful in the principality. The Duke of the Duchy of the Lawrence family, who followed the Grand Duke of Syrian to open up the territory of the current Syrian principality. And his family is also unprecedentedly powerful. The 4th level Earl Oslin Lawrence just now is the most outstanding extraordinary genius of the Lawrence family in recent years. He has dual sequence characteristics, Steam Wizard Grazing Sequence. Wizard. Grazer. At the same time, it is also a Steam sequence. Tucker nodded slightly. The 4th order Steam dual sequence genius will definitely be cultivated by his family. No wonder Tucker felt the other party's strong pressure. Our dwarf family's business relies heavily on the Lawrence family. This time, it was this Earl Oslin Lawrence who knew that our family sold perfect elite materials and came here to make a request. Otherwise, the family meeting might not pass Brother Andre's request. During the discussion, Baggins took out a blood-colored small box that was obviously beginning to scale. This is the dragon crystal of the 3rd order Lord level biological dragon. As Baggins' voice fell, Tucker had already felt the tyrannical, bloody, and cruel will of the dark dragon inside. Tucker, with his eyes slightly condensed, exhaled lightly. Tucker finally got what he had been thinking about for a long time. If the angel characteristics increase the depth of Tucker's Steam Wizard sequence, then this 3rd order Lord level dragon crystal increases the height of Tucker's sequence. The stronger the foundation, the further you can go in the future. Immediately, Tucker stared at the dragon crystal in front of him carefully. After a moment, Tucker couldn't help shaking his head. It's a good thing. But after taking it, you have to confront the soul will of a 3rd level dark dragon head-on. This is no different from committing suicide. Tucker didn't know what happened when this 3rd level dragon died. But this 3rd level dragon crystal was completely infiltrated by the will of the dark dragon. Although it is a Lord level material. But it is not a problem to say that it is a happy death channel. Otherwise, will those old guys take it out? Baggins laughed. That's right. Tucker had guessed before, and getting the thing at this time was completely within Tucker's expectations. In general, Tucker was still very satisfied. 3rd level Lord level material. How many can there be in the whole of Saint Land? After getting the thing, he talked with Baggins for a while. Baggins handed Tucker 46,000 magic gold from the elite material sold last month and 2 4th level leader level materials. Carrying so many things, Tucker quietly disappeared into the back alleys of the Dwarf Street. Chapter 187 Tempering Dragon Crystal. Inside the alchemy chamber, the magical hut, which was as big as a computer case, took the form of a monster treasure chest. It sat on the stone window, constantly using its stone arms to pick up the materials that Tucker placed beside it, and then stuffed them into its mouth. The feeding materials included blood crystal materials, metal materials, leather materials, living wood materials, crude rune stone fragments, as well as some small weapons, broken weapon fragments, etc. Every 3 or 5 days, Tucker would feed it a 1st and 2nd order extraordinary night sequence crystal to help it grow better. With a slow chewing action, those materials were crushed in the mouth of the magical hut, and then swallowed into the bottomless throat and stomach. Although the size of the magical hut's outer outline is not very large, but its internal space is not small, about 3 or 4 cubic meters. And the little sniffing duck has moved into this new home one step ahead of time. As a magical creature, this guy's sense of smell is quite sharp. Today's magical hut can eat 1 or 2,000 magic gold materials every day. In fact, It is not impossible to feed those simple and low-value materials. But if you want these magical huts to have strong concealment, flight and floating, spiritual world stationing, deep space navigation, high tower deformation, source energy circulation, inner world ecology, and many other magical abilities, you have to spend a lot of money to cultivate them. Just feeding some simple things cannot cultivate so many powerful magical abilities. Tucker had seized so many resources before, and now he has obtained so much magic gold. A large part of it is for cultivating this magical hut. Enter many magical extraordinary worlds in the future. The magical hut is Tucker's vehicle, protective gear, and residence for traveling to many extraordinary worlds. Put some materials next to the magical hut again. While throwing some scattered life veins over, Tucker carefully examined the magical hut. When I chose this guy, his vitality was very strong. It is still the same now. He can eat a lot. A lot of extraordinary characteristics are being absorbed by him, and then transformed into his own magical characteristics. When his outline grows to the size of a cow, the internal outline will be about the size of a house of 40 to 50 square meters. At that time, he can perform magical transformation. It will take a year or so if it is fast, and even 2 or 3 years if it is slow. After examining the magical house, Tucker slowly retracted his gaze. He turned around and looked at the crucible on the alchemy stone table. A pure extreme black dragon crystal was placed in it. The tyrannical, bloody, cruel, and crazy will was blooming wantonly. And he had extreme malice and hatred towards Tucker. It has been a week since I got this 3rd level dark dragon crystal. Dragon. It has a natural strong resistance to flames. Fortunately, the flame of Tucker's steam source flame generator is not an ordinary flame. In addition, Tucker himself has realized the mystery of the flame rune. It can melt this giant dragon crystal to a certain extent. With the start of the source energy steam engine. Hoolah! The dark blue flame surged out. Tucker gently swept through the flame with one hand. The puppet thread has been wrapped around the mouth of the flame, accompanied by Tucker's flame rune mystery. In the dark blue flame, the flame rune mark is faintly jumping. And at the end of the flame, it is obvious that the unique texture fluctuation of the flame rune power can be seen. Soon, the dragon crystal in the crucible was heated to hot melt state. Roar, 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 low, fierce, violent, bloody, cruel, crazy. The black dragon is a creature born in the dark side and has legendary characteristics. That is, the body has collapsed and the life has died. But his will still remains in the sequence. And this is why many strong people want to pass on their sequence. Life may wither because of death. And the sequence, even if life dies and collapses, it still exists. As long as dragons reproduce, the dragon sequence, hidden deep in the blood, will continue to be passed down. But as a lord-level dragon creature, its will is very tenacious. In addition, it is unknown how long this dragon crystal has been placed. The dragon will has completely penetrated into every corner of the material. But Tucker still suppresses it in all directions with steam, original spiritual state. Then he uses precision, correction as a scalpel to continuously cut its will. Constantly eliminate the negative characteristics of the black dragon will. And those, dragon, characteristics, Tucker naturally has to keep. After all, dragon is a powerful creature that is comparable to angel sequence. In the past week, Tucker has been busy with the dragon will every day. Cut and eliminate it. The main thing is a fierce battle. The dragon will is very fierce. Ordinary extraordinary people dare to go online. I am afraid that they will be shocked by the dragon will and their legs will tremble. Fortunately, it is Tucker. It is possible to go online with the dragon will for a long time, not only without loss, but even a little advantage. As time goes by, Tucker's advantage is getting bigger and bigger. At the beginning, Tucker was slightly inferior. Now Tucker has a stable and slight advantage. With the advantage established, Tucker is even more motivated to cut and eliminate the negative will of the black dragon that has penetrated into the depths of the dragon crystal. Tucker estimates that in another week, he will be able to completely refine the dragon crystal. About 2 or 3 hours later, Tucker finished cleaning the dragon will in the dragon crystal today and began annealing. If the dragon crystal is kept in a molten state, its characteristics will dissipate. Let it cool down and stabilize its own dragon characteristics. Melt it again tomorrow and clean it up again. This will not harm the dragon characteristics itself. Repeating this process can also effectively eliminate the remaining black dragon will. After finishing today's work, Tucker breathed a sigh of relief. Although it was a bit hard to smelt this third-level dragon crystal, thinking that he could devour the dragon crystal to advance to the third level, all the efforts were worth it. After all, when Tucker was promoted to a formal wizard, he was very poor and his means and strength were also very weak. He could only use 1 elite and 2 ordinary materials to advance. The first level foundation was weak. Then he needed to strengthen the strength of the materials in the subsequent sequence. And this time, the dragon characteristics, angel characteristics, and the top leader level materials from the depths of the ocean. Under the comprehensive reinforcement, it was enough to fill Tucker's foundation quite solidly. In addition, Tucker's dragon scale armor has the characteristics of a dragon, and it can also play its effect better. Tucker was fine when he entered the blazing state of light and fire. The dragon scale armor could enter this state very well. But when Tucker entered the shadow state, the dragon scale armor was a little resistant, which made Tucker not deep enough when he entered the shadow state and could not fit perfectly. It's not that the dragon scale armor has its own will. It's that the original owner of this dragon scale is the Earth Dragon. The main characteristics of the Earth Dragon are the ability to fight and resist. Dodge hammer. This body of dragon scales is to resist the enemy's output. Of course, it is also because of this that the 5th level Earth Dragon died in a very miserable state. But Tucker doesn't want this to happen. And now, after Tucker's dark dragon crystal was absorbed, Tucker can control the characteristics of his own black dragon crystal and the characteristics of the Earth Dragon scale armor to a certain extent. In this way, when Tucker is in the shadow state, he will be able to better play the effect of the dragon scale armor. After all, the dark dragon and the shadow state are quite compatible. In a few days, it will be the time for the next round of the Ash Day. It's time to go to the underground black market. This time, refine more materials. Try to get the materials promised to me by Lord Gustav, the Dark Walker of the Light Monastery. In this way, Tucker's eyes narrowed slightly. The promotion materials are complete. Chapter 188 The Transaction of Ocean Crystals. The underground city of Saintland. Ordinary street lights, bright or dim, illuminated one shop after another. Many stalls of extraordinary people almost filled up both sides of the road. Some extraordinary people who didn't have stalls directly took their things to sell to the extraordinary people passing by. Although the Saintland black market is not small, there are really many extraordinary people coming during this period. As a result, the black market seems a bit crowded and even lively. Tucker, wearing a gray second-level wizard robe and a layer of shadowy gray mist on his face, walked through the street. Just when Tucker wanted to follow the corner of the street into the alley and go to the Star Trek market from the back street, a 15 or 16-year-old boy with a selling box hanging in front of him suddenly stopped Tucker. Mr. Second-level wizard, would you like to know about the perfect elite materials? Tucker was startled. Has the market for perfect grade materials sunk to the point where they are sold on the street? You know, some time ago, Baggins even received extraordinary people who bought elite materials. Tucker looked at the second-level materials in front of the boy. At a glance, Tucker couldn't help laughing. A large number of clean properties are stimulated to the periphery of the material, and all harmful properties are gathered inside. If the perception ability is not strong, you will really think that this is a top-level material. Unfortunately, the framework of this second-level material is completely destroyed. It can't even be sold at the price of the basic second-level elite material. In addition, Tucker's eyes were slightly condensed. This group of people is not just selling materials to cheat people. When the boy stopped Tucker and talked to Tucker, behind Tucker, a second-level thief had already quietly approached. Sheep transformation. Tucker threw a sheep transformation spell without looking back. The second-level thief behind Tucker rolled out of invisibility and fell to the ground. He had turned into a white sheep on the Blackland Plateau. BAA. Thief sheep made a quick sheep sound. The passers-by around couldn't help but look sideways. Tucker's operation obviously intimidated the 16 or 17-year-old boy in front of him. He was so close that he didn't feel the other party's spell. Moreover, the thief behind him was a powerful thief of level 25, and he belonged to the main force of the gang. As a result, he was easily discovered and turned into a sheep by the second-level wizard in front of him. The boy took 2 steps back in panic. After being in the black market for a long time, those who didn't have good eyesight had died long ago. The remaining ones were naturally guys like him who had a certain eye. I'll count to 3. If you are still in my sight, Don't blame me for turning you into a sheep too. Tucker smiled and raised 3 fingers in front of the boy. Tucker's voice fell. The boy was startled at first, and then flew into the crowd and disappeared. The boy moved too fast and bumped into some extraordinary people passing by, which immediately caused a burst of curses. Looking at the boy who was fleeing frantically, Tucker shook his head and smiled. He took out a rope and put it around the neck of the second-level thief, Sheep. Tucker led the sheep into the alley. Normally, this time, Tucker was here to deal with important things. There was no need to pay attention to these insignificant petty thieves, although they would make those outsiders feel the anger of being deceived, and thus gain a bloody and real lesson. But in general, these are things that sheriffs and law enforcers have to deal with. But Tucker felt a very familiar breath from these guys. That is, the healing spell, the deep breath that settles on the body. Ordinary people certainly can't feel it. But Tucker felt it very clearly. After all, Tucker had experienced this healing spell in detail at the beginning. This dark healing spell was the dark priest Tanaru, the thief sheep that Tucker was leading, and the boy who ran away just now. They all have a lot of treatments from Tanaru's dark magic. It can be seen that these guys who cheated in the black market have been beaten a lot. And Tanaru's witchcraft is obviously of great help to them. After treating these guys, they can withstand more beatings. Tanaru seems to have found his own way to survive in Saint Land. Tucker thought that this guy had escaped long ago. Now it seems that he has not. Tanaru's nature of playing both black and white and testing the edge of the Dark Sun Church. Since he stayed in Saint Land. Then, this guy will definitely get in touch with the Dark Sun Church in Saint Land. Tucker can learn about the situation in Saint Land through Zillor. But Tucker is not very clear about the situation of the Dark Sun Church, the Blood Clan, and the werewolves in Saint Land. And Tanaru actually mixed in the black market in Saint Land. Maybe he can do some in-depth digging. I have to say, this guy Tanaru is really a treasure. Although his talent is not high, his means and abilities are quite good. He actually recruited a group of younger brothers in the black market. Interesting. Half an hour later, in the residential area behind the Star Trek Market, Tucker met the bishop-level strongman Gustav of the Star Trek Monastery again in the castle built by the last magical hut. Looking at this bishop-level strongman who was relatively friendly although they had not met many times, Tucker slowly told this story. Senior Gustav, this time I came here, I hope to be able to refine the 3 months of elite materials and leader-level materials promised before at one time. Get the 3rd level Quasi-Lord Blue Whale Ocean Crystal material in advance. When Tucker explained his purpose, Gustav looked at Tucker calmly, and after a moment, he slowly said, "Actually, you don't have to refine in advance. After all, you also have a share of the elite materials sold in the Star Trek market. You want to get the materials promised to you in advance. As a partner, you can discuss these matters with me. Even if you go to other places in the future, I can also use the channels of the Star Trek Monastery to complete the docking and sale of resources. After all, we, the Star Trek Monastery, still have many bases in the extraordinary world of the Augu twin stars." Gustav's explanation made Tucker suddenly understand. The Star Trek Monastery, as a neutral organization, does not have those strict restrictions. And this Bishop Gustav obviously wants to win over this extremely talented refiner. More importantly, as a neutral organization, the Star Trek Monastery does not care about Tucker's identity. They only care about the benefits of cooperating with Tucker. No one can bring them more benefits than a top refiner like Tucker. In that case, thank you, Senior Gustav. Tucker stood up and said. However, in order to show my sincerity, I still think it's better to refine these materials first. Because, I may not come to the underground for a while. Gustav raised his eyebrows slightly. Are you going to advance? Yes. Do you need help? No. After thinking for a while, Tucker shook his head. Gustav looked up and down for a moment before speaking. Since you insist on doing this, I won't force you. You can use the alchemy chamber at the back at will during this period. You can tell me if you have any needs, and I will help you solve them. Thank you, Lord Gustav. Chapter 189, The Son of Dark Sun and the Four Horsemen. Entering Gustav's alchemy chamber, Tucker couldn't help but marvel after watching it back and forth. The small source energy tower precipitated a lot of source energy. The large source energy steam engine can conduct the source energy more smoothly and naturally along the energy hub. Rune level flame generator plus lord level shadow dragon breath flame. The flames are comparable to dragon breath. It can fuse any material Tucker knows. Even the crucibles on the side are rune furnace crucibles, which have a series of operating functions such as heat preservation, annealing, quenching, etc. This set of alchemy configuration can't be made without tens of thousands of magic gold. Tucker sighed secretly. It will take 10 days and a half months just to debug. Put it in the magic hut, it's quite convenient to carry. My set of configuration is only about 3 to 5,000 magic gold. I'm afraid I can't even afford this rune furnace crucible. Thinking about it, Tucker's eyes condensed slightly. I can use the configuration here to refine my dragon crystal. As soon as this idea came up, Tucker suppressed it. Tucker was unfamiliar with the place and didn't need to use his powerful means. The biggest success was to complete the transaction steadily and get the resources. After returning, there was no rush to refine slowly. After all, Tucker's level itself still needed some time to settle. Tucker's Demon King, Wizard Ecological Magic Net was also in the initial experiment. Tucker's extraordinary talent Steam, Original Spiritual State was also slowly adding points. Tucker even planned to use the Demon King, Wizard Ecological Magic Net to initially connect with a bright steam lighthouse on Lamore Street to supplement some angel characteristics first. In this way, after the angel characteristics are supplemented, the angel sequence characteristic materials will be taken when promoted. The overflowing angel characteristics can also help Tucker better complete the awakening of angel abilities. Tucker needs a lot of time to prepare for this large amount of things. After getting the elite materials and leader level materials that need to be refined, Tucker looked around, and after thinking for a moment, he started the source energy steam engine as if nothing had happened and began to refine. This was in someone else's place, and Tucker didn't need to use barriers or similar means to hinder the senior's observation. Moreover, Tucker's refining methods were not afraid of being observed. Each refiner would walk out of his own path based on his own characteristics. Others couldn't learn the methods, skills, and abilities. Deep in the dark and cold alley, in the corner of the shadow, Assassin Yang was shrouded in shadow. In the depths of the shadow, Tucker's soul curtain merged with the darkness in the corner. During this period, Tucker used the soul curtain a lot. When Tucker practiced in the house and refined, Tucker would put the soul curtain in the more hidden alleys on the back street. The soul curtain itself has a certain soul activity. After Tucker's deep adaptation, it was as if it was a part of Tucker's soul extending outward. It can help Tucker perceive many things around him. The deeper the use, the more Tucker could feel the wonder of the soul curtain. Although the soul curtain itself has no combat ability and means, but the soul curtain can protect Tucker and prevent him from being in danger. This is its most powerful means. As Tucker continued to use and master it during this period of time, Tucker has been able to use the soul curtain window to accomplish many things. Even if Tucker himself does not come through, under remote control, the soul curtain's conversation, walking, observation, and even escape are exactly the same as real people. Tucker estimated that his Demon King ecological magic network was successfully constructed. After the ecological characteristics and source energy are circulated in the 4-star witchcraft rune, soul curtain, the function of the soul curtain can be developed to a greater extent. I don't know how long it took. At the end of the alley, Tanalu, who has been promoted to the 3rd level, appeared at the entrance of the alley with a man and a woman. Looking at the shadow and the assassin, Sheep who was buried for most of the shadow. For a moment, Tanalu was in a trance. He was familiar with that feeling. Mr. Wizard, if my subordinate has offended me, I hope you can forgive me. The soul curtain in the deep shadow looked at the 3 people at the entrance of the passage coldly. Immediately, the soul curtain released the assassin who had turned into a sheep. Immediately, the assassin sheep ran quickly towards Tanalu and the other 3. Tanalu, who was looking at the shadow, was slightly relieved, although he didn't know why the other party was so easy to talk to. But since the other party didn't pursue too much responsibility, it was good after all. Unlike the last time, this assassin who refused to change his ways had his 4 legs broken. The last time, this guy also offended a wizard who could turn into a sheep. Thank you. Putting his arm in front of the priest's robe, Tanalu performed a wizard salute. Just as Tanalu was about to leave with a few people and was thinking about how to unlock the assassin's sheep transformation, the silhouette in the shadow suddenly spoke softly. Tanalu, long time no see. Hearing that familiar voice, the chill instantly surged from the spine to the top of the head, and for a moment, Tanalu's brain became buzzing and hot. It was not until the female knight next to him pulled Tanniru that Tanniru came to his senses. "Is this man your friend?" Tanniru, who had gathered his mind, took a look at the assassin sheep and confirmed that it was the same sheep he had experienced before. Tanniru took a deep breath and lowered his voice. "You take him back first. I will talk to this old friend for a while." The female knight looked at the shadow, and then looked at the assassin sheep who did not have a broken leg or other injuries, and then nodded. Soon, only the soul curtain and Tanniru were left in the alley. Approaching the corner of the shadow, Tanniru looked up and down at the silhouette in the shadow. "Is it okay for you to appear here like this? If I were here by myself, there would be a problem. This is just a container. Even the soul is not myself. You can completely admit on the soul level that you have never seen me." "Container?" Tanniru stared at the Tucker who seemed to be in a shadow state. Then he smiled awkwardly. "I didn't recognize it. I almost thought it was you who came here. Your methods are really more and more wizard-like. Are you looking for me, for something?" Tanniru asked in a low voice. Originally, Tucker wanted to say that he was just passing by and felt your breath along the two guys who were often beaten. But it was too rude to say that. "You should still have contact with the Dark Sun Church?" Tucker asked slowly. This question made Tanniru's body stiffen slightly, and his expression became a little unnatural. "There are only a few contacts, and I won't cooperate with the Dark Sun Church anymore. At present, my main business is in the black market, doing some security protection work." Tucker didn't say anything, just looked at Tanniru quietly. After a while, Tanniru let out a long breath. "Okay, I'll tell you the truth. There are indeed some contacts, but they are only engaged in blood crystal transactions with a blood race. You also know that there are many people on the noble side who don't have any extraordinary talents or potential, but they just want to live longer. Therefore, they turned into blood race sequences. But they can't build their own blood pools and suck human blood everywhere. Therefore, they can only establish trading channels with a blood race. This channel has always existed. Even if a full-scale war breaks out, these gray channels cannot be banned." After Tanniru's long speech, Tucker said slowly, "I want to know the recent actions and situation of Wendell Francis, the Holy Son of the Dark Sun Church." Tanniru's eyes twitched and he whispered, "What else can they do? They just want to kill you. What you did at the time caused a great shock in the Dark Sun Church. You blasphemed the faith of the Saint Son Wendell Francis and the great God of Dark Sun. I heard that because of this incident, when sailing from the East Continent, the Dark Sun Angels of the Dark Sun Kingdom of the God of Dark Sun came down to investigate the problems of the Dark Sun Saint Son Wendell Francis. It is said that in front of many crew members, Wendell Francis had his soul cleansed by the Dark Sun Angels using the mantra and the Dark Sun Holy Light. It is equivalent to, you know what I mean by giving Wendell Francis to the soul level in front of everyone. Fortunately, Wendell Francis at that time cleaned up the manipulation you made to his soul level. His faith in the God of Dark Sun is still unshakable. But even so, Wendell Francis was still burned by the Dark Sun fire for a long time as a punishment. Because of this, the Dark Sun God's favored ones of the Blood Clan and the Dark Sun God's favored ones of the Werewolf both want to replace Wendell Francis. After all, in a supernatural world, there can be many God's favored ones, but there is only one Son of God. And the treatment of the Son of God is far better than that of the God's favored ones. Because of this, the three holy halls of the Dark Sun Church have been fighting for a long time. This also created a lot of time for Saint Rand. Also, you were really brave in the Black River Valley. Blood sacrifice, hundreds of people in a foreign gate node. Even members of the Evil God organization dare not do this casually. After all, the alienated wailing before the death of a life alone will cause the blood sacrificer to become distorted and out of control, and even cause the soul to become alienated and distorted. At the moment, it seems that you don't have much influence. Remember the puppeteer who wanted to be promoted to a high-level position that you killed? Tanniru asked in a low voice while narrating. I remember that guy was looking for death, and he just happened to run into my gun, so I sent him off. If you have a chance to meet Archbishop Ada Hicks of the Dark Sun Witch, please tell her that I have something prepared for her. Tucker's words made Tanniru's face tremble slightly. He would never dare to say this. It seems that you also know that the puppeteer is a companion of Archbishop Ada Hicks of the Dark Sun Witch. Because of these two things, the Holy Son Wendell Francis of the Human Temple of the Dark Sun Church has already gathered his 4 knights. Well, the 4 knights are a name for the lower sequence, And they are not all night sequences. Borrowing the lower sequence, the Holy Son Wendell Francis intends to be promoted to the 5th level. Promoted to the 5th level. Tucker raised his eyebrows slightly. What Tucker knew before was that Wendell was at the peak of the 4th level, and it didn't take long for him to upgrade to the peak of the 4th level. After the 3rd level, the cycle and sedimentation of the extraordinary sequence ecology will take a long time, and the 4th level will take even longer. You are so eager to be promoted to level 5. Is the pressure I put on you really that great? But then again, if that guy is really only level 4, and I just happen to be promoted to level 3. Rounding off, it's equivalent to no level difference. Tucker pondered silently. In addition, while Tucker was thinking, Tanilu on the side continued to narrate. I also heard that St. Francis is planning to take action on Lamore Street. His 4 knights now seem to be plotting against Lamore Street. It is said that the 4 knights may have sneaked into Lamore Street and even mixed into the steam lighthouse on Lamore Street. Of course I don't know the specific situation, but in general, they are trying to find you from St. Lander. Then, wash away your blasphemy against the great dark sun. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 190 Refining Before Promotion. Star Trek Monastery. In the alchemy chamber, Tucker, who is in the state of controlling the flame refining, slowly retracted his gaze. Wash away my blasphemy against the dark sun. The firelight reflected in Tucker's pupils. A slight smile gradually appeared at the corners of Tucker's mouth. Aren't they afraid that my blasphemy against the dark sun will increase again? Thinking back to the many conversations with Tanilu, Tucker couldn't help but secretly said in his heart that it was indeed easier to have an insider. Apart from other things, just the fact that Tucker knew that the Son of Dark Sun was trying to get promoted to the 5th level and that the 4 knights of the Son of Dark Sun were plotting against the Lamore Lighthouse was important enough. Want to destroy Lamore Street and lure me out? I'm afraid, the 4th level Son of God Knight may not be able to stir up waves. The time in Lamore Street was not short. Tucker could clearly feel that there were many powerful 3rd level and 4th level extraordinary people. They all took the initiative to move into the steam lighthouse on Lamore Street. Some people were sent from the St. Lander Tower. Some people came here because of the blasphemer. Of course, among these people, there may be knights of the Son of Dark Sun. But those people cannot all be knights of the Son of Dark Sun. But no matter what, the power of the current Lamore steam lighthouse is not only not weak, but also very strong. And there are also strong men from St. Rand who secretly observe and guard the steam lighthouse on Lamore Street. On the one hand, it is because there are requirements from Tacti in the steam lighthouse of Lamore. On the other hand, it is natural that the strong men of St. Rand's High Tower also know that the Dark Sun Church may target the steam lighthouse of Lamore and will also protect it specially. After thinking about it, Tucker slowly gathered his mind. The lighthouse plan made the wave belonging to St. Rand gradually surge. Tucker knew it from Abraham. Nowadays, many forces in the entire Auga twin stars are staring at St. Rand. Such a large-scale confrontation of power. Tucker's current power cannot control the overall situation. But Tucker needs to make comprehensive preparations on his own land. Tucker, who gradually gathered his mind, began to concentrate on refining these materials. The Dark Sun Saint knew that he would come to cause trouble after upgrading. Tucker would naturally not be slower than him. Isn't it just an upgrade? Who wouldn't? About 5 or 6 days later, Tucker had refined all the materials, and even refined a few more. After handing all the things over to Gustav, the Dark Walker, Gustav naturally couldn't help but praise Tucker. He even promised that if Tucker needed help, he could send him a magic letter at any time. After discussing with the more amiable Gustav, Tucker left the underground Star Trek black market with his many materials. In the hidden alchemy hut. Although Tucker was not here for the past few days. But Tucker left a soul screen and a lot of materials here. With the soul screen, Tucker's multi-threaded work made Tucker's life much more efficient. During the days when Tucker was away, he also used the soul screen to feed remotely. At this time, Tucker was sitting on the wool carpet. The material in Tucker's hand was a basketball-sized quasi-lord blue whale ocean crystal. As a giant creature like a whale, its extraordinary crystal is much larger. In order to dissolve these materials, Tucker spent more than 3,000 magic golds on the special tertiary promotion potion he bought. Ordinary tertiary promotion does not cost a few hundred magic golds. If you want a top-level promotion, you need to spend tens of thousands of magic golds. At this time, Tucker's materials for tertiary promotion are basically all gathered. Life materials, tertiary lord, black dragon crystal. Source energy materials, tertiary quasi-lord, blue whale ocean crystal. Soul materials, amulet of the Church of Light. The angel sequence characteristics are also at the level of tertiary leader. All three materials need to be tempered. Black dragon crystal, of course, is needless to say. Quasi-lord blue whale ocean crystal is also full of curses from the sea. If you take it directly, you will lose the ability to swim. The amulet of the Church of Light has more faith power inside. There are many benefits to absorbing the characteristics of angels, but the price is to believe in the great Lord of Light. Well, the Lord of Light helped mankind during the dark age of mankind. Then, it was destroyed by the group of people in the Church of Light. There is no problem with the power and faith of the Lord of Light. The problem is just that group of charlatans who pretended to be gods and blasphemed the gods. Although the Church of Light in the human world has long disappeared. But the Temple of Light Academy, the Church of Light organization, and some light sequences, such as light priests, light knights, light wizards, etc., still exist. Even the steam demon hunter Andre, their organization has the Church of Light behind them to provide help from the power of light. Of course, the organization and scale of the Temple of Light Academy and the Church of Light are far less than that of the Church of the Three Eyes, which is spread all over the human territory. In Saint Land, the largest church is the Church of the Three Eyes. Every prayer day on the day when the sun is the strongest in the ash cycle, the square outside the Church of the Three Eyes is crowded with people. Examining the three materials in his hand, Tucker breathed a sigh of relief. The materials are finally complete. After refining the materials, you can enter the Lamor Lighthouse as an ordinary wizard. The 4 Knights of the Dark Sun Saint want to play hide-and-seek with me in the Lamor Lighthouse. Tucker fumbled with his palm. Once I find out, it will cost lives. Just as Tucker was about to get up and refine these materials, a feeling of depression, dampness, and dullness filled the air. Boom. Boom. The footsteps gradually approached. Tucker's tentacle messenger came back. Tucker's heart moved slightly. He directly traveled through a phase and returned to the cabin. Then he removed the barrier power of the rental cabin. In the future, my normal residence should be equipped with energy barriers, not such barriers. Otherwise, Tucker glanced at the black and grotesque layer dimension outside. This guy will demolish my residence sooner or later. Not long after, several tentacles penetrated from the bizarre layer. Then a magic letter was placed in front of Tucker. After receiving the magic letter, the terrifying tentacle messenger gradually went away with a rumble. When the light of the furnace fire outside illuminated the hut again, Tucker opened the envelope. Dear Wizard Mr. Andre, hello. I have received your letter. Remember, never write to me easily next time. Unless it is a real death crisis. This is really a nightmare experience. The messenger, who is indescribable, has been chasing me for 3 days. Please forgive me for not knowing that this is the messenger of the wizard. Finally, it caught up with me, and just when I was waiting for death in despair, I received your letter. That absurd feeling was terrible. During the time I was writing the letter, my hands were shaking. Seeing this, Tucker laughed unkindly. From Dr. Stanley's scribbled handwriting, it can be seen that he is eager to send this big guy away quickly. Just the tearing damage of the tentacles to my magic hut and the pollution brought by the messenger itself require me to spend a lot of time to clean up. Fortunately, it has no malicious intent and I saved my life. But the troubles left behind are also quite a lot. Remember, never write to me easily next time. Dr. Stanley. Looking at the final quick and scribbled ending, Tucker rubbed his brows. The messenger is too powerful. Although it is a little troublesome, it can at least ensure that my magic letters can be delivered accurately. And those weak messengers may send themselves away while delivering them. Huh? Tucker breathed a sigh of relief, and walked through again and entered the secret room. Start tempering the materials. Then he turned on the source energy steam engine. Looking at the series of steam engines, flame crucibles and other configurations with small size and weak flame ability, Tucker shook his head. After the magic hut is fed, we must plan a larger alchemy chamber, and then equip it with a set of alchemy equipment with more than 100,000 magic gold. After all, in the future, we will smelt demons, dragons, titans, behemoths and other naturally powerful lord creatures. Without a good set of configurations, it will not work. Tucker gathered his mind and began the refining work before promotion. Chapter 191 The Transformation of 2000. Supernatural Talent, Precision, Correction, SSS Level. 1050%. Steam, Origin Spiritual State, SSS Level. 1990%. In the secret room, Tucker examined his supernatural talent. In the past half-month, Tucker continued to carry out daily refining, ecological practice, and tower learning. As the magical house grew stronger day by day, Tucker's STEAM supernatural talent, STEAM, Origin Spiritual State, gradually moved towards the 2000% mark. Precision, correction, like a scalpel, single-point meticulous incision. And STEAM, Origin Spiritual State, deeply changed Tucker's depth of fit with the origin. Tucker became more and more like the darling of the world's origin. This also allowed Tucker to easily comprehend the mysteries of runes. It can be said that Tucker's current accumulation of a large number of rune mysteries is the foundation laid by STEAM, Origin Spiritual State. As Tucker continued to push STEAM, Origin Spiritual State towards the 2000% mark, Tucker could also feel that he was getting more and more in tune with the world around him. According to the theory of supernatural science, S level, 200% minus 500%. SS level, 500% minus 1000%. SSS level, 1000% minus 2000%. The threshold of SSS, 1000%, is actually already an extremely high talent dimension. And Tucker did feel that after passing the 1000% talent threshold, Tucker's talent did usher in a qualitative change. And 2000%. Without a doubt, it broke the limit of supernatural theory and entered a new level dimension. Theoretically, there is still a probability that 1000% SSS level supernatural talents will be born. But in fact, Tucker consulted many documents in the magical tower. He did not see any records of SSS level supernatural talents. Most of them were S level supernatural talents, and even SS level ones were rarely recorded. 1000% of SSS level talents were only theoretically possible. And 2000% of supernatural talents that surpassed SSS level talents were not even theoretically possible. Take a deep breath. Feel the perfect interaction with the world brought by the 1990% STEAM Origin Spiritual State. Let yourself easily and naturally feel the state of the rune mystery. Tucker began the last important step of adding points: 1991%, 1992%, 1993%, 1998%, 1999%, 2000%. When Tucker's talent entered the 2000% threshold range. Slightly. Woo-woo-woo. The low, melodious, vast, and deep roar of steam, like a wave, spread from all directions. Tucker heard the sound of the entire St. Lander steam wave. The roar of steam from the tower in the St. Lander Tower area. The roar of the source energy steam engine that released the power of light from the steam lighthouse in the depth of the spirit world. The roar of the source energy steam engine in the dwarf blacksmith shop that helped them forge. Even the roar of the steam engine running along the steam rails was clearly visible. The entire St. Lander is a great world constructed by the huge extraordinary steam sequence ecology. At this moment, almost all the sounds of the steam sequence are gathered here at Tucker. As if all the steam forces are roaring and roaring, as if they are celebrating the arrival of the mysterious great power that has crossed the barrier. In this wave of steam roar, Tucker is the core of the steam world at this moment. Touch the world with steam, and the world will also respond with the roar of steam. This is the direction of Tucker's SSS level extraordinary talent at this time. Steam world. At this time, Tucker completed the interaction with St. Lander's steam ecological world with steam world, original spiritual state, and was undergoing transformation. St. Lander's steam ecological world also underwent strange and mysterious changes silently. The steam train running on the steam rails, the original low and harsh steam roar, began to become smooth and natural. A senior scholar on the steam train noticed this scene. He closed the book, closed his eyes, and carefully felt the slight roar. Then he opened his eyes and looked ahead to St. Land, which was about to arrive. The senior scholar vaguely felt something. St. Land seemed to be a little different from before, and St. Land was moving in a more mysterious and incredible direction. Spiritual layer. The source energy steam engine that originally extracted source energy from the origin layer and gathered in the steam lighthouse suddenly began to pump more source energy. The concentration of steam source energy began to rise gradually. Although many extraordinary people in it felt this change, they did not care too much. St. Land Tower area. Those giant source energy steam engines, which are themselves behemoths, have become tacitly in harmony with the original ecology of St. Land when carrying out a surrounding steam and extraordinary ecological cycle. The interaction of source energy and natural characteristics has also become a kind of silky smoothness. And this subtle change has attracted the attention of many high tower masters. For a time, many high tower masters have entered the location of the source energy steam engine. Carefully explore why there is such a strange situation. The most obvious feeling was from the steam sequence transcendence. Almost all steam sequence transcendents vaguely felt the roaring waves of steam from the outside world, which was particularly clear and thorough at this moment, as if they were resonating with themselves in some kind of wonderful way. And this wonderful resonance made their digestion and compatibility with the steam sequence significantly increased. Even some transcendents who were practicing in vain could vaguely feel some kind of mystery, which began to brew in their hearts. Along with Tucker's transformation at the 2000% critical point, Tucker himself broke through the barrier between steam and the world, while undergoing a deep transformation. As the driving force and responder of Tucker's talent transformation, the entire St. Lander steam ecology also enjoyed the benefits of Tucker's transformation. Originally, the steam ecology was the steam ecology, and the world was the world. The two intersected, but their independent states were suddenly broken. With Tucker as the center, steam and the world started a theoretically impossible fusion in St. Lander. Although this is just a slight beginning. But it's like the roar of the steam at the beginning. With the roar of steam, it will continue to deeply intersect, merge, and transform. In the end, what will it look like? Tucker didn't know. After all, this was the first time that Tucker entered this strange state where he perfectly intersected with the world. Carefully feel the feeling of the steam and the world being completely integrated. Woo woo woo. The steam that permeated from Tucker became a part of the world. The place where Tucker was located was naturally a strange steam world. Tucker didn't even need to use touch to perceive, nor did he need to use puppet silk threads. The steam power that permeated from his own steam sequence alone completed Tucker's control of the surrounding world. Tucker was like a walking steam world at this time. A steam world that was in balance with the external ecology. Tucker felt all this carefully. Even Tucker felt it very magical and incredible. This was a strange state different from any previous time. And this was naturally Tucker breaking the impossible ceiling at the steam sequence level. Tucker looked around. I'm in pretty good shape now. At the same time, St. Land seems to have entered a good new state. Tucker looked around. He could feel the wonderful roar of steam and the surging steam energy, interacting wonderfully with this world. Maybe. Tucker murmured in a low voice. St. Land is about to usher in a new era of the steam age. Chapter 192: The Origin of the Steam World. L'Amour Street. Tree Heart Crypt Tavern. There are fewer guests today, but even so, 1/3 of the seats in the tavern are occupied. During this period, there are a lot of extraordinary people coming to St. Land. And there are no fewer extraordinary people who come to L'Amour because of its reputation. A few days ago, the matter of St. Land's S-level extraordinary talent, the blasphemer Tucker, has been transmitted to every corner of the continent through the magic network. Some time ago, it caused quite a stir in the entire continent. S-level extraordinary talent. In the entire Auga Twin Stars extraordinary world, only this one seedling was born in 10 years. Coming to St. Land, isn't this a happy occasion? When you tell your children bedtime stories in the future, it will definitely increase the children's worship value by a level. They can't go to the real L'Amour. It has become a powerful stronghold of the Dark Sun Church. But you can still come to St. Land's L'Amour Street. At this time, the benefit of St. Land arranging a separate area for the residents of L'Amour is reflected. With a large number of extraordinary people coming here because of its reputation. The business on the long street of L'Amour, especially the shops with some local specialties, is also very hot. Pushing open the half-body door, Tucker looked around at the tavern today. There were not too many people. It was not too noisy, but it was not so crowded that he could not get any information. Give me a large portion of blackhorn stone pot meat and a portion of stone fruit wine. Tucker said to the bartender at the bar. Would you like a portion of Verajishadru? This is a special drink for the blasphemer in our tavern. The bartender started to sell it to Tucker. Back in L'Amour, This was the favorite drink of the blasphemer Tucker. The favorite drink of the blasphemer Tucker. Tucker was slightly startled. How could I not know? I can see that you don't come here often, and everyone knows this. The bartender shrugged his shoulders. Recently, many extraordinary people from other places have come to taste the specialties of L'Amour, which is also the favorite variety shot of the blasphemer Tucker, and it is brewed by the brewer of L'Amour himself. Tucker thought for a while and said seriously, I think I still prefer stone fruit wine. Then Tucker turned his head slightly and looked at the fireplaces and wine tables not far away where there was obvious steam and gray fog. The steam and gray fog there gathered but did not disperse, and was performing a very wonderful little ecological operation. What's going on over there? Tucker asked. While walking along, Tucker had already felt many similar strange scenes. Source energy steam. It seemed to have life. Within the scope of St. Land, all kinds of incredible situations appeared. The bartender looked up at the place where Tucker pointed, and then shook his head. I don't know either. It just appeared after that day. To be honest, if those high-level extraordinary people hadn't said that St. Land had undergone strange changes, I really wouldn't have known. To me, it was just an ordinary day. But, from what they said, it was obviously not an ordinary day. The steam in St. Land has been a little strange recently. The source energy steam over there is like this. Even if it is cleared, it will gather again after a while. But it's just a little source energy steam, there's nothing wrong with it. On the contrary, it's very interesting to sit in that ball of source energy steam at night. While chatting, Tucker ordered his meal and took out a copy of the newspapers from the newspaper rack next to him. Tucker came to the seat next to the corridor leading to the back street and sat down. He began to gradually browse what happened outside during the time he was in seclusion, refining materials and adding some talents. A St. Land steam daily. It is not as particular as the official daily newspapers on a large scale. Basically, everything is reported. In the expired daily newspaper, it was mentioned that the Cheyenne Chamber of Commerce was robbed by the air pirates. Tucker was very familiar with the pictures in the newspaper. After all, Tucker was one of the gangsters at that time. As expected, as the newspapers were published in the following days, a reporter broke the news that the St. Lander branch of the Cheyenne Chamber of Commerce and the Dark Sun Church were secretly plotting to use the delivery of the seal to destroy the steam non-freezing port on the East Coast. The non-freezing port on the East Coast is a hub connecting the northern border of the Principality of Celians and the ocean. It is a key position at the level of a large artery. This operation was intended to hinder the assistance of the steam non-freezing port to St. Lander. Unfortunately, it was strangled by the Bloodfront Sky Pirates, who regarded it as a black glove. Tucker also benefited a lot from it. The following days were about the investigation of the Cheyenne Chamber of Commerce. Although the report was very ordinary. But between the lines, Tucker saw that many people died because of it. In addition, the second level and third level perfect elite materials were also reported by the St. Lander Daily. Of course, they occupied small pages in the corners. The large page of the entire Steam Daily was still the construction and advancement of the steam lighthouse in the spiritual world, the cleaning of the Dark Sun pollution, and the many battles with the Dark Sun Church. When he saw the newspapers of the last few days, Tucker saw some small reports about the recent changes in St. Land. Looking at these reports, Tucker smiled gently. If Tucker had not deeply understood what exactly happened, he would have thought that this was just a normal change. And the reaction from the outside world was indeed the same. There are many powerful, extraordinary people who have felt that St. Land has changed, but they don't know what it is and what kind of impact it will have in the future. However, as the creator of all this, Tucker is very clear. He broke through the 2000% talent limit and broke the barrier between Steam and the world. St. Land's Steam ecology, as a responder and promoter, has received feedback. The Steam ecology has also broken the barrier between Steam and the world to a certain extent. At present, there are so many strange steam phenomena in St. Land. For example, the source energy steam that seems to have life gathered at the fireplace and wine table in the tavern. For example, the large steam gray fog chasing the steam bus. Even the steam source energy that will actively respond to the source energy steam engine, etc. That's all because the steam ecology and the lava hearth tree stump, as the world are being integrated. Tucker's steam wizard ecology is very small and has a high operating efficiency. In more than half a day, Tucker has initially stabilized and adapted to the new extraordinary talent. The Steam ecology, constructed by the steam towers integrating with the world of Saint Land. That will take a long time. After all, the lava hearth tree stump of Saint Land has been known to humans for thousands of years. Moreover, in the past hundreds of years, Saint Land has entered an explosive expansion. We have to give Saint Land some time. It can complete the integration. The sleeping Saint Land will usher in its own steam era. Tucker was thinking. The waitress brought Tucker's food and drinks. Sniffing the smell of the food, Tucker's appetite was opened. In the past few days, Tucker has been refining materials and adapting to the new extraordinary talent, and has not eaten a hot meal. While filing his hungry stomach, Tucker opened his attribute talent page. Supernatural talent, precision, correction, SSS level. 1050%. Steam, world, original spiritual state, SSS exclusive level. 2020%. After entering the higher threshold of 2000%, Tucker obtained the exclusive talent of the SSS level. Theoretically, 2000% is the upper limit. Tucker broke the SSS level ceiling. Then, this higher supernatural talent created by Tucker is naturally Tucker's exclusive. The SSS exclusive level, Steam, world, original spiritual state, talent is quite incredible. As a match with the origin of the world, Tucker's ability to better comprehend the mysteries of runes has been further strengthened. Secondly, the characteristics of world have begun to be reflected in Tucker's steam wizard ecology. Tucker's steam wizard ecology has begun to have a clear boundary with the outside world. Even the steam wizard ecology itself has begun to mobilize the power of barrier to complete the direct world barrier. Tucker himself can easily mobilize power to cross the boundary of this world. However, when Tucker tried to mobilize the veins of the dark sun raised in the shadow to pollute himself, the steam ecological world obviously mobilized the power of the ecological world barrier to resist, and at the same time mobilized the power of light in the ecology to clean up the pollution along the ecological magic network that Tucker had initially built. All this happened naturally. Theoretically, Tucker's steam wizard ecology of such a low level could not have such characteristics. But the SSS exclusive level, steam, world, origin spiritual state, extraordinary talent. It easily created such an impossible thing. After eating and drinking, Tucker took out the thick extraordinary history book of the Augu Twin Stars Extraordinary World and read it. The materials for promotion to the third level have been refined. The exclusive level SSS extraordinary talent has also been created. This time Tucker came here for promotion. Of course, before that, Tucker needs to contact Zilur. Before, Tucker strolled outside Zilur's office and did not find any trace of Zilur. There is no trace of Zilur here in the tavern either. Then we can only wait here. After half a day, the guests in the tavern changed one after another. Tucker finally waited for the busy man Zilur. Chapter 193 Unique Angel Characteristics. Zilur pushed the door open, wearing her unique silver armor with golden patterns. Unlike the last time he saw Zilur, Zilur was now full of blood. Tucker could vaguely see blood-colored steam lingering around Zilur. A faint pressure naturally permeated. After staring for a moment, Tucker was slightly surprised. Has Zilur walked out of her own blood-colored steam path? So fast? Tucker pondered in his heart. But after thinking about it carefully, he understood. After all, Zilur herself is an A-level extraordinary genius. And Count L'Amour has carried a lot of L'Amour's power on Zilur. This undoubtedly raised the upper limit of Zilur's talent. In addition, a few days ago, Tucker triggered the entire steam ecology of Saint Land. As a steam sequence, Zilur is entirely likely to have benefited from it. Zilur was not the only one who entered the tavern. Following Zilur was a nobleman in a brown suit, a wide-brimmed black hat, and a red bloodwood staff. Fourth-order double sequence, steam wizard shepherd, Earl Oslin Lawrence. A genius from the Lawrence family of Floating Star City. Tucker looked at the noble Earl, thinking. Not far away, some extraordinary people were discussing the changes in Saint Land steam and source energy steam engines in the past few days. When they saw Zilur coming, one of them immediately asked loudly, "Hey, Zilur, what's the matter with the changes in Saint Land steam these days? Can you tell us about it?" Zilur, who was sitting at the bar, turned around and looked at the guests. After confirming that they were acquaintances here, he thought for a moment and spoke. "I don't know much about it, but one thing is for sure, That strange change will have a great impact, and many mentors in the tower have paid attention to the changes in Saint Land. Many tower apprentices and extraordinary people have begun to conduct detailed investigations and statistics on the changes in Saint Land. As he said this, Sliver pointed to the thick source energy steam fog surrounding the fireplace and wine table not far away. I heard that such strange scenes have appeared in many corners of Saint Land. Of course, that's all I know. Personally, I'm just a knight. You can't expect me to understand this world as deeply as a wizard. Sliver has a clear understanding of this point of his own. If you want to know more about the changes in Saint Land during this period, perhaps Earl Oslin can answer your questions. As he said this, Sliver looked at Earl Oslin Lawrence, who was traveling with him. Hey, Earl from a foreign country, do you know? At this time, a drunk extraordinary person asked loudly. Earl Oslin Lawrence did not care about the rudeness of these extraordinary people. Instead, he thought seriously. Although there were many steam towers that jointly constructed the powerful steam ecology of Saint Land, but Saint Land and the steam ecology have always maintained a certain degree of independence. For example, if the previous Saint Land's magical tree stump was a superhuman, then the steam ecology constructed by the many towers here is the steam core. Although both exist, they are isolated from each other. And this time Saint Land has undergone a strange change, as if the Saint Land's lava furnace fire tree and the steam ecology have completed a wonderful interaction. The two have interacted. So, this has led to some changes in Saint Land. Of course, I can't tell you the specific situation. Earl Oslin Lawrence maintained his rigorous characteristics. Is it good or bad? Someone asked. It seems that this situation is very good at the moment, because it can make Saint Land more ecologically vibrant. It can help us resist the invasion of the Dark Sun more easily. It's great to be able to resist the invasion of the Dark Sun. Immediately, those superhumans who were a little drunk cheered loudly. In order to better resist the invasion of the Dark Sun, let's have a toast. Haha. Cheers. The extraordinary people in the hall immediately started to make a noise. Several drunkards also mumbled incoherently. Sliver, who was drinking, glanced at the hall casually. When he passed a corner, Sliver's pupils shrank slightly. The figure that had disappeared for a long time finally appeared again in the Earth Center Tavern. Then, Sliver looked at Earl Oslin Lawrence on the side. Earl Oslin, I welcome you to guard the long street of Lamore this time. With a powerful wizard like you coming here, we will be able to fight those blood servants from the dark more effectively. They are so annoying. Those blood servants are really troublesome. Fortunately, I have enough means to restrain them. Earl Oslin nodded and smiled. In addition, there is another thing that is also worth looking forward to. A smile appeared on Sliver's face. It's worth looking forward to. Count Oslin looked over curiously. The most talented and extraordinary swordsman in the history of Saint Land is about to arrive at the Lamore Lighthouse. Blank? Will he come? Count Oslin raised his eyebrows slightly. Yes. Sliver nodded. It is said that Blank comprehended the rune sword code when he was at the first level. Is this true? Count Oslin asked. It's true. Sliver nodded carefully. To be able to comprehend the rune sword code at the first level, this talent is indeed amazing. Count Oslin said with a little envy. If you can comprehend it at the first level, then when you enter the second level, as you advance, your compatibility with the rune sword code will increase significantly. At the second level, you may be able to steadily advance your understanding of the rune sword code secrets. As for the third level, you can even touch the more difficult rune secrets. The rune sword code, as well as the guidance of the extraordinary sword code, can help you progress step by step. As for the rune secrets, it is entirely up to your own talent to borrow the power of runes to go deeper into it. If your talent is not high enough, it is simply difficult to fit the runes. At this point, Earl Oslin shook his head. That's true. In response, Sliver nodded very affirmatively. After all, the direction she is heading now is the Rune Holy Shield secret. Because of the wonderful changes in Saint Lander a few days ago, she has already made some progress. Of course, all this is inseparable from her swallowing of the blood crystal and the wonderful changes in the steam sequence. Sliver continued to speak while thinking. Before Blank entered the High Tower Abyss to practice, I went to see him once. He told me in detail the whole process of his desperate understanding of the Rune Sword Codex when he was guarding Tucker. If I have time, I can talk to you about many interesting things here. A few days ago, Blank wrote to me, saying that he had finished his practice and was ready to come here to help me guard the long street of Lamore. Is he going to wait for the blasphemer Tucker here? Earl Ostlin asked with a little curiosity. There are some intentions in this regard, and of course there are other reasons. At the beginning, he got a lot of benefits in the Demon King's tomb in Lamore. Before the final battle in Lamore, he was taken away by his mentor. So, he also wants to make up for it. Well, I see. Earl Ostlin smiled. It seems that many extraordinary strong people will move into the Lamore Lighthouse. I am really looking forward to the garrison here more and more. At this moment. Woo woo woo. A slight steam whistle sounded outside the tavern. The half-body door was opened by itself. I saw a superhuman driving a steam train built with steam energy. He just broke into the tavern. This scene made Tucker a little stunned. This superhuman really understood the steam sequence. With the suspension characteristics of steam, he built a steam train as big as an amusement park, which ran around freely. Not only was it trackless, but it was also suspended and driven by energy. This made it ahead by many versions. When the steam train was about to hit the bar counter. Woo woo woo. A rapid whistle sounded. Buzz. The steam train turned into a large amount of hot steam and spread out. While waiting for the steam to dissipate, the guy who drove the steam train had already sat steadily on the high chair at the bar counter. Who is this? Count Ostlin looked at Schiller. The steam walker, Christ, has moved into the lighthouse of Lamore. He often drives his steam train around. In the spirit world, many Dark Sun creatures have been killed or crushed by him or his steam rails. Nice to meet you. Count Ostlin pinched the brim of his hat and nodded. Christ raised the glass of wine that the bartender had just poured for him, indicating a return gift. In the corner, Tucker's mouth drew a slight smile. There are really many geniuses gathered in the Lamore Longstreet Lighthouse. In addition to these few, there are a few others who are also quite interesting. I just don't know if there are any Dark Sun Saint Knights among these people. Well, let's absorb the angel characteristics in the Lamore Longstreet Lighthouse first. The matter of finding people can be put off for a while. While thinking, Tucker looked in a direction. The Lamore Lighthouse has a main lighthouse and 5 satellite lighthouses. Before, when Tucker came here, the materials containing angel characteristics had not been placed in it. And this time, Tucker arrived. In the satellite lighthouse in the corner of the Lamore Lighthouse in the spiritual world, the characteristics of the angel sequence are hidden. And it is a very powerful angel characteristic, enough for Tucker to absorb it. Moreover, that angel characteristic is very unique. Tucker suspected that it was the power of a certain angel sequence. Tucker didn't know much about the angel sequence. Therefore, Tucker was waiting here for Xyluer to ask about the specific content of that angel characteristic. Chapter 194 Mechanical Angel and Steam Wizard. Spiritual World. There is an obvious boundary barrier between the light emitted by the steam tower and the spiritual world ecology polluted by the dark sun. Within the light barrier supported by the light of the steam lighthouse, with a continuous outflow of source energy steam as support, it is very stable and natural. But outside this boundary barrier, Tucker has seen the power of the dark sun dimension spreading deep in the dark sky from the strange and twisted darkness. The spiritual world itself is a flowing spiritual realm, which is not a stable state. Coupled with the spread of the power of the dark sun, characteristics such as chaos, lost, and sinking are very active in the spiritual world. If there are no abilities such as phase, direction identification, walker, and travel, normal extraordinary people who dare to enter the spiritual world will easily lose their way, and then sink completely in it and die. Death is already the best ending for being lost in the depths of the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, losing control, twisting, deforming, crazy, alienated, and even becoming part of some terrifying existences in the spiritual world, that is endless sinking and torment. Tucker stood quietly in the corner of the number 5 Lamore Satellite Lighthouse. Although it is called a satellite lighthouse, this lighthouse is more than 30 meters high. It can accommodate 30 to 50 extraordinary people without any problem. At this time, Tucker was at the bottom of the number 5 Lamore Satellite Lighthouse, where the source energy steam engine and the dark land of the spiritual world intersect. And the power containing the angel sequence was stored in a small magical space layer inside the source energy steam engine of the satellite lighthouse. Tucker couldn't help but praise this method. Tucker also searched for a long time before finding it. This place is completely isolated from the outside world. You need to hold the corresponding certificate to enter. Breaking through here is covered by the high tower source energy steam engine. When Tucker breaks through, his own steam phenomenon will not be discovered. It is a very good place for breakthrough. Of course, when Tucker is promoted here, he will definitely make more arrangements. Just as Tucker was examining it, the barrier door on the side was slowly opened. Tucker glanced at it, and it was indeed Ziller. Hillel took Count Oslin into the spirit world, browsed the lighthouses stationed there, and sent him off. She went to the tavern, and even her small room on the second floor did not see Tucker. There was no one outside, so Tucker must be in the lighthouse. You found it after all. Hillel looked at Tucker, and then looked at the steam lighthouse next to it. To be honest, when the senior told her that there was an angel sequence here, she came to take a look, but she had no way to feel the so-called angel sequence. Tucker was able to find this place accurately. Is there a problem with that, Count? Hillel asked directly while thinking. I can't see it at the moment, but his sense of smell is very sharp. You saw my slight strange movement just now, and he caught it. Tucker said slowly and methodically. But he was very honest and didn't send his spirit servants out to track me down. Of course, it could also be that he was afraid of alerting the enemy. Or, he just took a look out of pure curiosity and had no ill intentions. At least I didn't sense his ill intentions. In addition, this Earl has met me before. Although he didn't look at me directly, his leader demon stared at me for a long time. It can be seen that the third-level leader demon he herded coveted my soul. Tucker's words made Ziller take a deep breath. The things Tucker described were even secret confrontations. She didn't notice them at all. Of course, as a night sequence, perception is not her specialty. At least, she also felt that the Earl of Oslin had a very evil aura. I didn't expect it to be a demon creature, and a leader-level demon. What about Christ? It remains to be seen. It seems that he has the potential for abstract behavior in the future. Well, his steam train is very good, I like it very much. Tucker laughed. He's driving a train, with a group of wizards behind him casting spells to build a mobile steam train turret. That scene must be spectacular. I must talk to that guy when I have time. If other wizards are afraid of death, I think Earl Oslin is definitely not afraid. Blank is coming too, right? Well, it's good to arrange a guard position for him. If you have time, you can arrange it. After all, you are the leader here. Ziller's eyes twitched when he heard it. I have to say that Tucker's idea is really creative. I'm afraid, there were more than a dozen people before the steam train entered the spiritual world, and when it came back, there were only a few left. Then Ziller took a deep breath and asked, what happened a few days ago? Is it related to you? What happened a few days ago? Tucker rubbed his eyebrows. Well, I guess so. Sure enough. Ziller's heart trembled slightly. That was something that affected the entire St. Lander. But Tucker has always been the kind of bold, careful, and ruthless style. Tucker would definitely do this to affect the entire St. Lander and fight against the Dark Sun Church. This time you come. Ziller looked at Tucker. Yes, it's what you thought. Tucker said softly. Promoted to the third level, so fast. Ziller exhaled lightly. It seems that you haven't been promoted to the second level for a long time. The ecology of wizards needs more time to circulate and settle. Such a fast advancement will not have any impact on your subsequent wizard path. After all, among the wizards who carry the teacher's sequence in Lamor, I'm afraid you are the only one who can bloom the teacher's sequence. I know you want to deal with the Dark Sun Church. But this war will last for a long time. You don't need to hurt your future wizard path for the sake of the current promotion. Don't worry. Tucker said slowly and methodically. Since I choose to advance, it proves that my ecology has completely stabilized the framework of ecology and level. Then when do you plan to advance? The next gray sun cycle, or the next gray sun cycle? Tucker thought for a while and said. That's it. Tucker looked at the source energy steam engine that was as big as a caravan. The angel materials delivered here have some strange angel characteristics. It's a little different from the angel sequence power I've come into contact with. Ziller was obviously prepared for Tucker's question. That's the power of the mechanical angel sequence. Mechanical angel? Tucker raised his eyebrows. Yes. Ziller nodded. It is said that in ancient times, in a distant borderland, the mechanical race and the gods started a war to compete for the huge corpse in the starry sky. Although the angel sequence is very powerful, those mechanical life forms are equally powerful. Later, The gods began to study the combination of the power of the angel sequence and the power of the mechanical sequence. Mechanical angels are the product of this time period. Many temple academies in the three-eyed God Holy Spirit Kingdom have studied the combination of the steam sequence and the angel sequence. In the end, it was found that mechanical angels and steam sequences are the easiest to merge. Indeed. Tucker nodded. It was because of the resonance with the light metal containing the angel sequence that Tucker obtained the seed power of the angel sequence. At this time, Ziller explained this. Tucker found that what he had absorbed at the beginning might really be the power of the mechanical angel sequence. The power of the mechanical angel delivered this time is the wreckage of the mechanical angel armor. It contains quite powerful mechanical angel sequence characteristics, and it is the characteristics of the seventh order mechanical angel. Because this is a wreckage, and it has been dead for a long time, so you may be able to guide those angel characteristics. Otherwise, the normal seventh order sequence angel, with its unique powerful dispersal effect and rich light power, close contact can easily cause the collapse of our sequence, or even make us permanently blind. The seventh order, mechanical angel, wreckage, contains powerful angel sequence characteristics. It can indeed provide Tucker with guiding power. At the beginning, when Tucker first absorbed the power of the angel sequence, the angel's light feather blade and the mysterious broken power were also a fight between gods. This time it's better. At least, it won't cause any harm to Tucker. After a discussion, Ziller left quietly. Tucker sat down steadily in a small compartment next to him. Feeling the pleasant roar of the source energy steam engine, Tucker's puppet thread surged out silently. The power of phase permeated the puppet thread. This allowed the puppet thread to easily pass through the source energy steam engine. Then, the phase ability allowed the puppet thread to pass through the barrier of this strange small space, and finally, the puppet thread plunged into the wreckage of the seventh order mechanical angel sequence. Quite pure and strong angel characteristics. And, this life metal is also very good, you can absorb some of it. Mechanical angel, steam wizard. It sounds very suitable. In fact, it is true. As Tucker absorbed the characteristics of the mechanical angel with the power of holy light, along with the material of life metal, were slowly absorbed by Tucker. At the same time, the steam wizard sequence smoothly and naturally absorbed and digested the angel sequence and life metal. The angel characteristics in Tucker's steam wizard sequence were rapidly enhanced. Even on Tucker's steam wizard sequence tree, the sequence fruit containing holy light has begun to grow. The angel power fruit that has been bred in advance will not be weak, but will be very powerful. Feeling the perfect fusion of the angel sequence and his own steam wizard sequence, Tucker steadily pushed the steam sequence forward. Chapter 195 Promotion to Level 3. Satellite Lighthouse Number 5, in the corner of the bottom floor like a cellar. Tucker, sitting cross-legged in the guard compartment, silently chanted a spell. The two-star witchcraft spear of shaping light, ball, the light witchcraft that has been following Tucker, was released. Tucker did not use the first ring light blazing ring staff, but simply constructed it with spells and hand gestures. In theory, two-star witchcraft will not carry the power of rune mysteries. But at this time, spear of shaping light, ball itself carries the power of the very stable light rune mysteries, which makes its power obviously rise to a level close to that of three-star witchcraft. Looking at this witchcraft that has changed due to the power of the angel sequence, Tucker's eyes narrowed slightly. The angel sequence is really powerful, allowing my light witchcraft to complete a small transformation in all aspects. The effect of the spear of shaping light, ball and the holy light healing spell has been amazingly improved. After looking at it for a while, Tucker waved his hand and reabsorbed this condensed witchcraft into source energy. Tucker took a deep breath and looked inside his body. It took about 2 days of absorption. Under the powerful talent of Tucker's steam, world, origin spiritual state, Tucker completed the perfect supplement of the angel sequence, characteristics of the steam, wizard ecological tree. At this time, Tucker's steam wizard ecological sequence tree was filled with a very strong breath of light, angel, holy, etc. Even Tucker's ecological sequence tree absorbed a part of the life metal and showed a strong sequence activity. What made Tucker most happy was that the angel ability sequence fruit on the steam wizard sequence tree had condensed, and it was a fluctuation containing the mystery of the rune. In other words, Tucker completed the promotion, which was at least a rune, a 3-star angel ability. Feeling his perfect state now, after thinking for a while, Tucker directly moved out the small wooden board of the barrier ceremony and began to summon the barrier ceremony. The next grade 8 to advance? Not exist. Promote to the 3rd level, today. Others need a long time to prepare and plan for advancement, and the process of advancement is even longer. For example, the puppeteer who was promoted from the peak of the 6th level to the 7th level in the Black River Valley before. The reason why he spent so much time to complete the promotion ceremony was to use the promotion ceremony to digest those powerful materials. For Tucker, the promotion to the 3rd level itself is not difficult, and the promotion ceremony is completely unnecessary. In addition, the 3 top-level promotion materials in Tucker's hand have been refined by Tucker several times, and they are perfect harmless materials. Tucker only needs to take the materials and complete the framework construction of the 3rd level sequence level. A steady promotion that can be completed with hands can be completed in a few hours. Soon, a small barrier force was constructed by Tucker. The silver holy wall plus crystal source wall constructed a small crystal barrier, which was the size of the compartment where Tucker was. My ecology itself has the characteristics of world, which can cover up certain steam anomalies. And there is the obstruction of the power of barrier. Finally, Tucker looked at the source energy steam engine in front of him. To others, the low and heavy roar of the slightly noisy source energy steam is exactly Tucker's 3rd layer of protection barrier. Tucker gathered his mind and gradually took out the materials for this promotion. The dark blue 3rd level wizard promotion potion made from the fountain of youth from the depths of the extraordinary ocean on the east side. This was purchased by Tucker at the Star Trek Monastery, with a total of 10 bottles, costing Tucker 24,000 magic gold. In the medium-sized beaker, Tucker poured all 10 bottles of dark blue 3rd level wizard promotion potion into it. It was a full half cup. The materials Tucker took this time were of high specifications and large in size. The Lord level dark dragon, the quasi-Lord level blue whale, and the leader level amulet containing the angel sequence of the Church of Light. It needs to be increased in dosage to be melted. Tucker first put on the blue whale ocean crystal. It is in line with the ocean crystal from the extraordinary ocean. As it was put into the potion, suddenly, waves of ocean emerged from the small beaker, and there was the sound of the ocean hitting the coast. Then, there was the deep and melodious sound of whales. The originally dark blue potion became even bluer, the ultimate deep blue. Then, Tucker put the leader level amulet of the Holy Sea of Light, which represented the soul material, into it. Goo 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 goo, accompanied by dark blue bubbles. Buzz! The rich power of light bloomed. Along with the light that was almost condensed into substance, Tucker saw many angels gently flapping their white wings, flying freely in the light, as if they were in the kingdom of God, eternally carefree. After staring for a moment, Tucker gathered his mind. He continued to put resources in. The last one to be put in was the black dragon crystal. As soon as the black dragon crystal entered it, chi-chi-chi, gulu, gulu, the holy potion of light instantly became viscous. Black bubbles kept emerging and exploded slightly. Tucker shook his head. This scene is too much like refining some kind of evil potion. If it were in the ancient dark era, once discovered, you would definitely be caught in the city-state's central square, have a bonfire party, and become the protagonist of the barbecue. Looking carefully at the potion in front of him, Tucker waited for them to melt. I completely destroyed the faith power of light and the will of the dark dragon. Only by using the power of the sea as a medium can light and darkness merge with each other. Otherwise, light and dark materials, put together, it would be an explosion with a high artistic content on the spot. About 10 minutes later, a weird potion similar to black and blue fluorescence with a mixture of blue and light appeared in the darkness. Tucker touched it with his sense of touch and confirmed that it would not kill people. Then he picked up the beaker. Gurgle. Gurgle. A large dose of potion was poured into his stomach. Not long after, Tucker's body began to become soft. Tucker wanted to support his body, but it was difficult to support it. Pa. With a sound. Tucker's body was like a sticky liquid, falling to the ground and spreading out. Fortunately, Tucker had built a barrier in advance. At least Tucker's body parts would not flow out. If a part was missing, it would be not good. In terms of form, he entered a mysterious state. At this time, Tucker's will was immersed in the ecology of the Steam Wizard sequence, and began to absorb the promotion materials and break through the sequence level. About an hour later, woo woo woo, the roar of steam became stronger inside the barrier. A large amount of source energy steam was spewed out from Tucker's body in liquid state. The liquid Tucker stored on the ground was constantly evaporated. Tucker began to transform from the bizarre liquid state to the steam state. Soon, the liquid Tucker on the ground was completely evaporated. The steam state was diffused throughout the small barrier, which was quite strong. Woo woo woo. From the depths of the steam state, there were constant whistle sounds. At the same time, the breath of the third-order sequence gradually emerged. When the outline of a figure began to emerge from the depths of the steam, Tucker's third-level aura became clearer and more stable. Using the three materials of Lord level, quasi-Lord level, and leader level to lay the foundation for promotion to the third level. Tucker's third-level aura is much more fierce than the aura of ordinary fourth-level extraordinary people. Moreover, Tucker's third-level aura naturally has the deterrent power of the powerful life form of the Lord level. More than an hour later. Woo woo woo. Accompanied by the roar of the low and melodious steam whistle. Tucker, who has the perfect fusion of the wizard sequence, steam sequence, and angel sequence, has completely stabilized. Tucker's body in the source energy steam has also officially returned from the steam state to the normal state. Tucker, who completed the promotion ceremony smoothly, naturally and steadily, slowly opened his eyes. Then Tucker opened the attribute page. Extraordinary sequence, Steam Wizard, level 30. Origin Dark Sea, level 29. Looking at his own level, Tucker was thoughtful. Although the power of angels is already very strong in my sequence. But as the Steam Wizard sequence is the main sequence, the power of angels can only be a part of it, not the main sequence. That's fine. After all, the angel sequence is a sequence created by others. Based on the Steam Wizard sequence, I can develop my own unique sequence. Well, and it's a unique sequence that contains the power of the angel sequence. After thinking for a moment, Tucker smiled. When I was promoted to the second level, I used the life material of the Quasi-Lord Mountain Giant Bear. When I was promoted to the third level, I used the Dragon Crystal. Now my life physique is much stronger than that of the Steam Knight of the same level. Tucker clenched his fist and felt the sound of steam roaring in his muscles. In terms of pure power, even Xyluer may not be as good as me. In terms of source energy, it is a normal improvement. In terms of wizard soul, it comes from the power of the angel sequence. In the third level wizard sequence, there are probably not many people who can compare with me in soul strength in the entire August Twin Star supernatural realm. Feeling after being promoted to the third level. The physical body, source energy, and soul have all been improved by at least double. Tucker was emitting his own hot steam. Feeling this wonderful moment. Now I am finally level 30, and I can happily add points and level up again. The idea of adding points just emerged, but Tucker suppressed it after a moment. Well, I just got promoted, and I need to stabilize my Steam Wizard ecology before I can continue to upgrade my level and add points. Anyway, it will only take a day or two, so there is no rush. In addition, my angel ability has also blossomed. Tucker looked down along the attribute panel. In the extraordinary ability column. As Tucker was promoted to the third level, the power of the angel sequence finally blossomed. Angel ability. Steam Light Feather Blade, 3-star, form ability, level 1. Examining the ability of this powerful 3-star angel sequence that he had obtained. Tucker's perception was immersed in the sequence fruit of this angel ability, and he began a detailed exploration. Chapter 196. After a long time, Tucker finally opened his eyes, and there was a hint of joy in his eyes. The 3-star form ability, Steam, Light Feather Blade. As an ability born from the power of the angel sequence, it is not a traditional witchcraft. It is a kind of ability to condense the light feather blade with steam, so that Tucker can obtain the powerful ability of the Steam, angel form. Steam, Light Feather Blade, at the initial stage, it has 2 feather blades. At the intermediate stage, it has 4 feather blades. At the advanced stage, it can have 6 feather blades. Enter the Steam, Light Feather Blade form. First, it naturally has a powerful divine light power, and at the same time it will obtain the mechanical, angel life characteristics, with powerful defense and recovery capabilities. Second, it has the ability to fly and extremely high mobility. Third, all attacks in this form will be accompanied by the angel sequence's unique, divine punishment, and cleansing, sacred characteristics. The power of the angel sequence is definitely identified as the Father of Darkness. Tucker's Steam, Light Feather Blade can be regarded as a powerful means to transform into a steam angel. Feeling the new characteristics of his own steam sequence, which is different from the angel sequence, Tucker is very clear about the power of this angel sequence. Moreover, Tucker's main perception now is the mystery of the light rune. It will make the formability of this steam light feather blade more powerful. First, stabilize the level framework after the promotion. Then add points and upgrade. When the level is raised, try this new angel ability. After examining it inside and out, Tucker calmed down and sat cross-legged steadily to stabilize his third-level Steam Wizard status. Tucker's Steam Wizard sequence ecology itself has this world characteristic, and the ecology will circulate and stabilize itself. In addition, Tucker's preliminary ecological magic network accelerated the cycle. It only took a little more than a day. Tucker stabilized his level framework after the promotion. Then, it was naturally a happy time to add points. Level, talent ability, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star witchcraft. This wave of Tucker's points added was very enjoyable. After such a long time in Saint Land, Tucker has accumulated a lot of energy experience. Inside the small compartment barrier. After adding points, Tucker examined his attribute page after adding points in all aspects. Supernatural sequence, Steam, Wizard, level 33. Dark Sea of Origin, level 33. Supernatural powers, phase walking, 665 fragments, level 39. Heart of Flame, 550 fragments, level 39. Supernatural talents, precision, correction, SSS level 1100%. Steam, World, Origin Spiritual State, SSS exclusive level 2020%. Supernatural Witchcraft ability, Steam, Light Feather Blade, 3 stars, Form ability, level 39. Sheep Transformation, 2 stars, ability, level 39. Touch Perception, 2 stars, ability, level 39. Rune, Soul Curtain Shadow, 4 stars, level 39. Rune, Hand of Spiritual Walking, 3 stars, level 39. Rune, Hurricane Holding, 3 stars, level 39. Light Shaping Spear, 2-star, level 39. Holy Light Healing, 2-star, level 39. Arcane Shot, level 39. Abyss Bloodthirsty Vine, level 39. Dragon Scale Shield, level 39. Nightmare Oil Bomb, level 39. Micro Hurricane, level 39. In terms of level, Tucker only added it to level 33. On the one hand, the self-evolution and running in of the third level ecology needs time to settle, and Tucker also needs to slowly comprehend the process of the self-evolution of the ecology. Secondly, after the third level, it is necessary to lay the foundation for the promotion to the fourth level. Level 33, level 34, level 35. These 3 levels are the most suitable time to absorb the second steam core. Tucker's level is slowly pushed from level 33 to level 35, and the timeline is extended, which can also leave himself a better opportunity to absorb the steam core. Compared with Tucker's own mainframe level, it needs to be treated with caution. There is no need to worry too much about magical powers and witchcraft. Tucker directly added all that can be added to level 39. What surprised Tucker was that with Tucker's own strong advancement, a large number of extraordinary characteristics cultivated the Steam Wizard sequence. Tucker's 2 abilities, Sheep Transformation and Touch Perception, were also upgraded to 2 stars. This is the advantage of Wizard ability. It can grow with the growth of the extraordinary. From 1 star to 2 stars, or even 3 stars. The witchcraft learned outside does not have such characteristics. This addition of points is certainly refreshing. But this addition also consumed more than 80% of Tucker's source energy experience. With the improvement of the extraordinary sequence, all aspects began to consume experience. Especially Tucker's own sequence level. The experience required to upgrade from level 30 to level 33 is twice as much as the experience of the 4-star Witchcraft Rune Soul Shadow from level 29 to level 39. The subsequent Steam Wizard sequence level, from level 33 to level 39, will be a massive investment of experience. The demand for source energy experience of the third level has begun to become amazing. Not to mention the fourth level is a mid-level extraordinary. At this time, the Wizard Tower is needed. The Wizard Tower can help extraordinary wizards store a large amount of source energy, so that wizards are in a more concentrated source energy environment and can better improve their levels. There are all kinds of towers in the extraordinary world, and this is the reason. In order to compete for the world with abundant source energy, there are many cases of launching plane wars. Before, Tucker relied on other people's source energy towers to grab other people's source energy towers, or rely on those areas with abundant source energy to develop and upgrade steadily. As Tucker's magic hook grows up, Tucker's strength level increases. Tucker needs to choose a suitable place and use the magic hook to build his own wizard tower. In the long journey of climbing the extraordinary ladder, the wizard tower is indispensable. Gradually gather your thoughts back. Tucker looked at the 3-star form ability Steam Light Feather Blade, which has been upgraded to level 39. Tucker suddenly pinched his left hand. Buzz! The light rune mysteries of the light blazing ring staff bloomed layer by layer. Woohoo! A large amount of source energy steam behind Tucker, accompanied by the roar of a low and melodious steam sequence, poured out like a flood. In an instant, the entire barrier compartment was filled with steam. Then, a large amount of source energy steam quickly gathered behind Tucker, and the power of light also bloomed. Buzz! Densely packed light blades like glass substance gathered behind Tucker, and finally condensed into a pair of mechanical angel wings, but also composed of large and small glassite blades to form Steam Light Feather Blade. The light feather blades flapped gently, and Tucker flew up gently. Tucker, who had experience in controlling the shadow state, easily mastered the flight form of Steam Light Feather Blade. After carefully feeling it, Tucker quickly mastered the essence of this powerful form ability. The shadow state allows the attack to penetrate itself to avoid damage. And the state of Steam Light Feather Blade changes my body in all aspects, allowing my life state to enter the form of Light Feather Blade life, using the extremely strong Light Feather Blade characteristic defense to resist damage. Even if there is some damage, I can also use steam to recover. After all, my Light Feather Blade form is constructed with steam. The Light Feather Blade form is considered my Steam Angel form. After all, the way I look now. Tucker carefully felt the Angel Light Feather Blade behind him that was completely condensed by light, as well as the strong Angel Sequence aura and the sacred aura on his body. No matter how you look at it, it looks like an angel. This form does not hinder the casting of various witchcrafts. Tucker's eyes narrowed slightly. After being promoted to the 3rd level, with my magical powers and witchcraft abilities, combined with the powerful Steam Angel form I now possess, I will have the capital to fight against the Dark Sun. Now that I have made a breakthrough, then, it's about time I start my fishing plan. Haven't those members of the Dark Sun Church always wanted to find me? Then I will give them a chance to die. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 197 A Level Genius Steam Assassin. Spiritual Lair. L'Amour Steam Lighthouse. Satellite Lighthouse Number 5, which has always been stable and natural. Today, suddenly, a strange phenomenon broke out. Boom boom boom. The huge energy steam engine began to emit a violent roar. At the same time, woo woo woo. The extremely violent steam spewed out from the energy steam engine at the bottom of the lighthouse. The steam was like substance, and all the spellcasters originally stationed in the lighthouse were pushed out of the steam lighthouse. For a time, the 20 or 30 spellcasters who were pushed out to guard the lighthouse were furious. Damn it, I was practicing and was directly pushed out by the steam. Although the steam in Saint Land has been a little strange during this period, the steam in this lighthouse is too strange today. What are the spellcasters who are looking after the energy steam engine below doing? Why did the energy steam engine suddenly become so violent? We can't enter the core of the energy steam engine at the bottom. We can only check the operating status of the energy steam engine through instruments. A wizard who was also pushed out and focused on fire was also a little depressed. And we were pushed out too. It seems that the core of the bottom layer, that is, where the source steam engine is, someone is doing something. While many spellcasters were discussing, buzz buzz buzz, the powerful power of barrier quickly descended on the entire lighthouse. It completely enveloped the entire lighthouse inside and out. In an instant, the entire lighthouse was like a barrier. Just as the barrier descended and protected the entire steam lighthouse. Above the steam lighthouse, there was a place where a strong light was blooming. Wow! The extremely obvious power of the angel sequence bloomed in it. At the same time, a majestic and vast, Oppressive third-level wizard aura bloomed in it. Powerful steam sequence. Mysterious angel power. There is also an extremely powerful third-level wizard aura bred in it. And this is still Lamore Street. At once, almost all the extraordinary people in the number 5 steam tower who were pushed out realized something. Tell Lord Ziller quickly that Blasphemer Tucker may have broken through and been promoted in steam tower number 5. The 4th-level wizard manager in charge of satellite lighthouse number 5 ordered immediately. Understood. A 2nd-level young assassin took a step and flew out directly. Boom. Buzz. The roar of powerful steam was accompanied by the spread of angelic breath. For a moment, all the extraordinary people in the Lamore Lighthouse area of the entire spiritual world discovered this scene. Inside the main steam lighthouse of Lamore, Earl Oslin Lawrence was standing quietly by the window. When the steam surged, he had already felt it. Is it Blasphemer Tucker? Or is it another wizard? After all, there are still some powerful steam wizards who come here during this period. Earl Oslin Lawrence, tapping his fingers on the window balcony, thought silently. At this moment, on the outer wall of the main lighthouse, woo woo woo, in the rapid sound of the steam whistle, Christ, wearing a fitted gray walker's clothing, was driving his steam train and descending. He seemed to rush to the scene as soon as possible. As a steam walker sequence, it has various abilities to travel and identify directions. Even in the mysterious spiritual realm, he will not lose his way. In the Lamore Steam Lighthouse area, accompanied by the strange side of the number 5 steam satellite lighthouse. At this moment, a lot of eyes are gathered at the location of the number 5 steam lighthouse. Even in the depths of darkness, some powerful eyes fell on the number 5 steam lighthouse of Lamore. After all, the violent roar and the spread of angelic characteristics are too conspicuous. With a steam assassin Geoffrey walking in the darkness, feeling the dazzling sacred light, almost steam stepped on the fluctuations of the steam roar and followed the sound. Geoffrey is a 44-level A-level extraordinary genius of the Dark Sun Church. He has been at this level for a long time. It's not that he can't upgrade, but he likes this number. The next number is 49. He would upgrade after he had enough energy experience. He jumped directly from level 44 to level 49. That was the digital art he followed. He was more picky about assassination skills than numbers. For every assassination, he would hide perfectly in the wonderful rhythmic fluctuations. Then chase the prey. Finally, when the prey was relaxed, or when it was completely unaware, or, like now, at the critical moment of the prey's promotion, use a sharp blade to perfectly dismember it. This is a perfect chapter of the art of killing. The art of killing. It's not about death, but about the way of death. Blasphemer Tucker. He had heard of this name a long time ago. When he heard this name and what the other party did, Geoffrey had a feeling. That is, this incredible genius will end in his hands. Especially when he knew that Blasphemer Tucker had the legendary S-level extraordinary talent. Geoffrey was even more excited. So he stationed near the Lamore Lighthouse. Because he could feel it. That Blasphemer Tucker will appear here. Opportunities are always reserved for those who are prepared. Today, he finally waited for it. He followed a light and stepped on the fluctuations of the steam source energy. His blood was excited. The sharp rune dagger was beating at his fingertips. He felt it. Today, the art of killing will reach its peak. Geoffrey has already felt the power of the barrier. This power was originally brought from a distant foreign land by their Dark Sun Church. It is said that the Blasphemer Tucker not only mastered this strange method, but also broke free from the belief in the barrier. That damn blasphemer dared to blaspheme even the Great Barrier, damn it. The strength of the barrier is not high. For Geoffrey, who has the ability of spiritual shuttle, it is not a problem. He only needs to accumulate a little more spiritual shuttle power to jump directly in. Spiritual shuttle, by borrowing the power of the spirit world, directly skips the barriers, and restrictions of the real layer. It is a very high-end hunting and infiltration method. If the opponent's barrier is strong enough, he may not be able to shuttle through it. But at present, it seems that this Blasphemer Tucker, who is being promoted to the 3rd level, does not seem to have a high level of control over the power of barrier. Although there are some obstacles when using spiritual realm shuttle, Geoffrey still successfully entered this number 5 steam lighthouse. Just as Geoffrey came in and took his place, he looked around and searched for prey. I heard that you like art very much? A calm and natural voice sounded. At the same time, in a corner not far away, A figure slowly walked out of the misty steam. The steam wizard, S-level extraordinary talent, Blasphemer Tucker, whose newspaper portrait he had seen many times in the newspaper, really stood in front of him for the first time. Blasphemer Tucker appeared in his truest identity. Geoffrey instinctively felt that something was wrong. Isn't he breaking through? Or, is this a trap? In an instant, Geoffrey, who was proficient in the art of killing, understood. I like art, too. Tucker looked at the steam assassin who was caught on his own initiative, and said seriously. But I don't agree with your so-called art of killing. I think true art requires dedication, but the problem is who is dedicated to it. Now it seems that I have a goal. Tucker's voice had just fallen. Geoffrey moved in an instant. His whole body turned into an extreme dark blade, rushing towards Tucker. Even the rune mysteries of the dark book bloomed to the extreme at the same time. The afterglow of the sharp edge tearing through the air just bloomed and ended. Geoffrey was horrified to find that he couldn't move. When he looked at himself, despair, fear, and horror filled his mind instantly. I saw. Invisible silk threads had penetrated into every corner of his body at some point. He was like a small insect bound in a dense spider web. What's more terrifying is that when he listened to the other party's explanation of the so-called art, he was alert to the surroundings. But even so, he did not find anything unusual. He, who had absorbed 2 steam sequence cores and was a 4th-order A-level genius steam assassin, did not even have the chance to attack in front of the Blasphemer Tucker. Chapter 198 The Three-Eyed God's Gaze. This is the home advantage. Tucker sighed secretly as he looked at Geoffrey, the A-level extraordinary genius steam assassin who was almost entangled into pupa by his puppet silk thread. Tucker, who had already broken through, pretended to have broken through, so as to track the masters of the Dark Sun Church hidden around, or to track the spies hidden in the Lamore Lighthouse to take action. Tucker has arranged quite a lot of means in this number 5 lighthouse. Tower Life Puppet Silk Thread is one of the means Tucker developed to combine with the tower. Puppet Silk Thread combines Tucker's steam, world, original spiritual state. It allows Tucker to weave the life veins of any living being that enters the tower into the tower silk thread, and anchor it in the tower without knowing it. And it uses their own life veins. Unless the perception and insight ability is extremely amazing, it is difficult to detect this method. After all, this is an SSS exclusive method. And the steam assassin in front of him was trapped by Tucker. If you were outside, such a guy would be very difficult to deal with. Even for me, it would take some time to kill him, let alone capture him alive. After all, he is a genius master of the A-level steam sequence. Even in St. Lander, he is a top genius. But it's easy to enter my home ground on your own initiative. I just didn't expect that this guy would dare to rashly enter a wizard's territory. I don't know if he is too confident or too stupid. But anyway, he is a pretty good big fish. After all, this Geoffrey is very famous in the Dark Sun Church, and his talent is not inferior to those favored by God. Looking at the steam assassin in front of him, Tucker thought slowly and methodically. Puppet silk thread is just one of the means Tucker arranged in this tower. Tucker also made a lot of arrangements for the barrier that is easy to enter but difficult to leave. If he encounters an enemy that cannot be solved, Tucker can also trap them in it for a period of time. At that time, the strong men of St. Lander will naturally deal with them. Tucker knew that there was a very hidden portal at the main lighthouse, and the strong could come at any time, and there was even more than one portal. St. Lander paid more attention to Lamore than Tucker imagined. Tucker raised his head and carefully examined the genius from the Dark Sun Church, whose talent was not inferior to that of Ziluar's steam sequence. The Dark Sun Church has extremely high restrictions on the souls of these geniuses. It is basically impossible to ask anything. In that case, then let's sacrifice it alive. Just think of it as a dedication to art. I have been promoted to the 3rd level, and the level has been raised to level 33. The strength of the ecology has been greatly improved, and it can accommodate and carry more soul curtains. But, before that, we have to extract his steam core first. Tucker gently pinched his right hand. Buzz! A ring-state shadow ring staff bloomed, and a large number of shadow tentacles gathered and went away. In an instant, Geoffrey's storage bracelet, weapons, extraordinary leather armor, spiritual leather boots, etc. were all removed by Tucker. Then, Tucker placed one hand on the chest of steam assassin Geoffrey. What are you going to do? At this time, steam assassin Geoffrey had difficulty speaking. What else can I do? Of course, I'm going to make use of the waste. Tucker responded slowly and methodically. Anyway, I'm going to sacrifice you alive later. The steam sequence core in your body is still a little useful. Although your steam core has grown crooked according to your sequence form, it doesn't matter to me, but for my magical hut, it doesn't care what the steam core looks like. By the way, Tucker paused as he was about to take action. Normally, you should be equipped with a steam wizard, so that you can better complete the cutting of the steam core in the sequence. And like me, tearing the sequence alive will slightly touch your soul. Bear with it, it will be over soon. The voice fell. Woo woo woo, accompanied by a slight steam roar. Tucker's two arms directly entered the steam state. With a dimension of steam resonance, Tucker's steam arm broke into the opponent's assassin sequence ecology alive. The scale of your ecology is quite small, and it is so hidden and compact. Do all you assassins like to live in a small dark room so much? Soon, Tucker's steam arm grabbed the opponent's two steam cores. Then Tucker exerted force suddenly. The tearing of the extraordinary sequence rooted in the depths of the soul was instantly transmitted to the soul. The shrill screams, like a volcano erupting. Then it stopped abruptly, and Geoffrey's whole body and his breath collapsed. Tucker violently tore the opponent's sequence, causing the opponent to directly enter the countdown of life. He put away the two steam cores that had been shaped by steam characteristics. Tucker quickly took out a customized small wooden board of the Soul Curtain Shadow ritual. Along with the chanting of the ritual spell, the outline of the firelight quickly spread. Before Geoffrey died, Tucker completed this ritual sacrifice. Next time, we need to start the ritual first. After extracting the enemy's steam core, we can make the sacrifice immediately. Sure enough, you have to do this kind of thing frequently to gain experience. Then, Tucker looked at the soul curtain that was like a rich shadow silk. In Tucker's notes, the soul curtain stood up shakily, and after walking around Tucker twice, its steps were already quite skillful. Then, the soul curtain directly sank into the shadow behind Tucker. The 44th level intermediate soul curtain is much stronger than the previous 330 level primary soul curtains. Facing the two soul curtains placed outside and the 4th level soul curtain that had just been harvested, Tucker carefully compared them. These soul curtains can basically be regarded as Tucker's additional soul bodies, which can help Tucker withstand the control, damage, influence, etc. from the soul. It can be said that this is one of the reasons why Tucker dared to fish here. Actually, you don't have to sacrifice him. At this moment, a voice suddenly sounded. The female voice sounded holy and natural, and it calmed people's hearts. Tucker was not surprised by the voice. Before, Zillur told Tucker that there were strong men watching at the Lamor lighthouse, and if there was any situation, the strong men would come here as soon as possible. The strange phenomenon of the roar of steam here attracted Tucker, a strong man from Lamor, and he was not surprised at all. Tucker had already felt it when the other party came in before. Even this Bishop Martha Clark came in before the steam assassin Geoffrey. Turning around, Tucker said to the Bishop of the Three-Eyed God on the side, Martha Clark. She was wearing a white robe of the Three-Eyed God Church. There was a silver three-eyed maple on her chest. It is said that the great Three-Eyed God opened up his Eye of the World in his hometown of the Three-Eyed Maples, and finally ascended from the legendary position to the divine level and created eternity. The three-eyed maple has also become the holy emblem of the Three-Eyed God Church. Martha Clark, wearing the robe of the bishop of the church, has humble eyebrows and a pious look. She is a respected bishop of the Three-Eyed God Church. What else? Tucker responded truthfully. Hand him over to the sheriff, send him to the law enforcement department, and then put him on trial. That is too merciful, too humane. Tucker shook his head. Compared to doing that, using the closest artistic means of living sacrifice to thoroughly cleanse his soul is the correct way to open it. Killing him, there is nothing wrong, but at least, there is no need for living sacrifice, such a cruel method. The female voice did not refute, but just said calmly and naturally. This will affect your soul. The great Three-Eyed God does not want to see his children go crazy because of killing. Tucker couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. The great Three-Eyed God noticed me. Chapter 199 Tucker, the one favored by God. This is the extraordinary world, a world with gods. The Three-Eyed God Church can listen to the will of the gods. Even in some extraordinary worlds, the Three-Eyed God will bring down miracles. Tucker knows very little about those incredible great gods. Tucker has to be cautious about this matter. God is everywhere. God is staring at you. God blesses you. Bishop Martha's explanation made Tucker understand a little. Then Bishop Martha continued to explain. God doesn't care about your killing. God only cares whether you will be affected. In my communication with those strong men in the St. Land Tower, their explanation is very clear. If your soul needs some treatment, I will help you. Even here in Lamore, I will protect you. Of course, it seems that at present. Bishop Martha Clark paused. Although your methods are a bit radical, your soul has not been affected. Then, there is no problem. Perform fewer living sacrifices. This is my personal suggestion. If you are not affected, you can ignore it. Bishop Martha Clark's explanation made Tucker feel a little good about this clergy member of the Three-Eyed God Church. At least, they would not hold the thick doctrine and stick it on Tucker's head to preach. A very pragmatic and effective style, similar to the rumors about the Three-Eyed God Church. Indistinctly, Tucker also sensed something. That is the importance of the Three-Eyed God Church. At the beginning, when he learned from Xylur that a bishop of the Three-Eyed God Church would often garrison and patrol here, Tucker knew that the Three-Eyed God Church valued him. After all, Blasphemer Tucker is the only owner of S-level extraordinary talent in the Wagyu Twin Stars extraordinary world in more than 10 years. There is no doubt that there is nothing more worthy of winning over than such a talented extraordinary person. Even if the great Three-Eyed God does not pay attention to Tucker. Just based on this amazing S-class extraordinary talent, the Three Eyes Church of St. Rand would not underestimate Tucker. While Tucker was thinking, the Bishop Martha Clark continued to explain. It is said that you have the means and ability to circumvent faith and even pollute faith. It seems that you are more amazing than the legend. The wailing, distortion, deformation, and alienation from the dimensions of life and soul did not leave any traces on you. Recalling the details of Tucker tearing the opponent's sequence and sacrificing the fourth-level steam sequence extraordinary person of the Dark Sun Church, Martha Clark, the bishop of the Three Eyes Church of St. Rand, said slowly. Even the barrier faith of the crystal source first wall did not leave any traces on you. So, Tucker looked at the bishop of the Three Eyes Church who was good at redemption and healing. So, Bishop Martha said slowly. You are not good at priesthood. But the Three Eyes Church has the duties of the gods favored who execute divine punishment and punishment, you. Bishop Martha Clark paused and looked at Tucker carefully. Are you interested? Are there any benefits? Tucker asked instead of agreeing. Bishop Martha laughed softly. You will enjoy all the top treatment of the gods favored. At the same time, this also means that you will be fully cultivated by the Three-Eyed God Church. In addition to some conventional resources, you can also obtain some rare resources, such as the powerful Rune Meditation Secret Book, 4-star, or even forbidden spell-level witchcraft. Even Jabu seals, if you need them, the Three-Eyed God Church branch of St. Land will try to help you. Bishop Martha's explanation made Tucker a little moved. Tucker has always tried to obtain various important and rare resources. But in the extraordinary world, most of those top resources are monopolized by the St. Land Tower, the Church, and those powerful mysterious organizations. Even the dwarf family can build a family treasure in the underground seal. This is all real heritage. Others have accumulated for decades or hundreds of years, and a large number of powerful extraordinary people have collected and accumulated resources. Of course, it is not something that Tucker can compare with by refining some materials in a short time. If Tucker wants to find the resources he needs from the market alone, it is like looking for a needle in a haystack. Many extraordinary people are trying their best to squeeze into the tower. Isn't it because the resources in the tower are good? Before, Tucker hid because his level was low and his strength was not strong enough. He was afraid that his identity would be revealed and he would suffer a fatal blow. After all, the various strange means of the extraordinary world are hard to guard against. Now, the bishop of the Three-Eyed God Church has personally extended an olive branch to him. And Tucker is gradually gaining some wings now. Tucker himself has some plans in these aspects. The benefits sound very good. Tucker thought and said slowly. But, the task I undertake will probably not be easy. Yes. Bishop Martha nodded. The power of the Dark Sun dimension in the north alone has brought great pressure to St. Rand. Not to mention, the power of the Sun Rock Empire in the south of the continent is gradually increasing. The Stone Golem Empire in the East Continent was established not long ago, but it has a huge influence in the East Continent. As the steam sequence resounded throughout the world, they also quickly established their own steam sequence system. Saint Rand not only needs powerful power, but also a symbol. A powerful symbol that brings hope to everyone. That symbol is me. Tucker's eyes narrowed slightly. Yes. Bishop Martha nodded slightly. The blasphemer Tucker, the owner of S-level extraordinary talent. No one is more suitable than you. Although not many people know about the things in the Black River Valley, we will report them in the newspapers when appropriate, which will help to form enough centripetal force. But this will push me to the forefront. Tucker's fingers under the wizard robe rubbed slightly. Bishop Martha paused, and she looked at Tucker with a weird look. Do you still need to be pushed? Haven't you always been at the center of the storm? You blasphemed the faith of the Dark Sun Saint, and the Dark Sun Saint, who was far away in the East Continent, came to Saint Rand in person just to find an opportunity to kill you. After the S-level talent incident came out, a large number of fortune tellers verified it, and there was no doubt that it was correct. The report about you in the Steam Daily some time ago swept the extraordinary world of the Augu twin stars. Maybe they don't know who the current king of the Principality of Syrians is. But they definitely know that the owner of the S-level extraordinary talent is the blasphemer Tucker. Whether you admit it or not, in today's Saint Rand, you are the one standing at the top of the wave. Bishop Martha's words made Tucker rub his eyebrows. This is indeed the truth. Whether Tucker is willing or not. Now, Tucker is the most handsome guy in Saint Rand. I don't deny that you have a strong talent and amazing strength. But you do need enough training, learning, and further improvement. Only in this way can you go further. At the same time, we will not interfere with your actions in Saint Land. It's just, when necessary, you need to appear in public as Tucker. Well, can I appear in the shadow form of my soul curtain? Tucker asked thoughtfully. Bishop Martha Clark nodded after thinking about it. No problem, after all, that is also a part of you. In fact, that would be a safer way. With the bishop's agreement, Tucker also breathed a sigh of relief. He didn't have to show up in public. Tucker used his ordinary shadow ring staff and soul curtain. The shadow state could be completely indistinguishable from the real thing. Even Tucker could throw some other things into it to prove that this was the real Tucker. Soul curtain. It is the magic curtain and shadow of the wizard. At this time, use the soul curtain to perform a good show on the stage of the era wave of Saint Land. There is no way to be more amazing than this. In this case, I have nothing to refuse. Tucker took a deep breath and said. However, before that, I still have a lot of things to deal with and prepare. After all, I have just been promoted not long ago, and I need some time to adapt to my current state. No problem. Bishop Martha nodded. As the favored one of the three-eyed god, you can choose to appear at the right time. The favored one Tucker. Tucker carefully considered this new wave that was about to be staged in Saint Land, and he was a little bit looking forward to it. Chapter 200 The Emotionless Fireball Launcher. Rumble. Rumble. Even though the powerful barrier in the number 5 steam tower had stabilized, the violent roar still swept across the entire spiritual realm. At this time, almost all the extraordinary people stationed at the Lamore Steam Lighthouse gathered here. After all, this was suspected to be the place where the blasphemer Tucker broke through. This was the closest they had ever been to an S-level extraordinary genius. In the corner of the number 4 steam tower that no one noticed, Tucker, who had used phase walking to pass through, walked out of the shadows. Then he quietly came to the back of the crowd. At this time, the extraordinary people who were strongly surrounding the number 5 steam lighthouse were discussing it. Did the blasphemer Tucker really break through here? I don't know. How can it not be clear? It is said that the blasphemer Tucker can build a powerful barrier force. It is said that Tucker did this in the underground Blood Clan castle. The barrier power of this tower is like a towering mountain. Who else could it be but Tucker? Isn't Tucker hiding very deep? How did he suddenly break through here? Isn't he afraid of being targeted by the Dark Sun? How do you know that Tucker has not contacted the Three Eyes Church or even the Saint Land Tower? Maybe they want to use Tucker's promotion and breakthrough to track the enemy. This may be a trap. Well, that's true. Just as everyone was discussing it, Zillur had already brought a large number of extraordinary people through the lighthouse gate and rushed over at a high speed. Obviously, they came to block the number 5 steam tower. Tucker thought for a moment, glanced at the number 5 lighthouse, and then followed the crowd to disperse quietly. The power of the barrier of the number 5 satellite steam lighthouse was not removed, and Tucker also turned the source energy steam engine inside to the maximum. Leave a false appearance of a breakthrough here to attract attention. This will help Tucker's next move. After all, the enemy has begun to plot the Lamore spiritual world steam tower. This time, he was promoted from the second level to the third level 33. Tucker, who is a steam wizard himself and has an amazing foundation, has doubled his basic attributes in all aspects. Compared with the improvement of the rank, various skills have been upgraded from level 29 to level 39, which is also an amazing improvement. Tucker needs some time to adapt to his new means after becoming stronger. More importantly, SSS exclusive extraordinary talent steam world, original spiritual state. After the transformation, Tucker has not yet experimented in detail in battle. During this time, Tucker plans to stay in the Lamore Steam Lighthouse as the powerful wizard Andre. In the next few days, Tucker officially fulfilled his duties as a tower defense wizard. Hiding in the steam tower, Tucker transformed into an emotionless fireball launcher, standing by the spellcasting window where he could stick his body out. Normally, Tucker only needed to sit here, enjoy the rich energy brought by the steam engine of the steam lighthouse, meditate and practice. He could even chat with the spellcasters next door. Well, this group of spellcasters talked about everything except spellcasting. As long as you heard the clang 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 bell sound on the steam tower, it must be that the pioneers outside were in trouble. At this time, when those extraordinary people ran into the range of the lighthouse, the many spellcasters stationed in the steam tower could release their spells in large quantities. Tucker did not use other means. He just used his fire ability alone. Small fireball, big fireball, chain fireball, explosive fireball, fuel fireball, explosive fuel fireball. Various fire abilities were continuously released with Nightmare Fireball as the core. During the release, Tucker naturally made in-depth use of his extraordinary talents and the use of the energy of the third level extraordinary. The work was simple and convenient. He could throw fireballs when he had nothing to do and get a good salary. This life was quite comfortable. Of course, in addition to garrisoning, as he adapted, Tucker also began to gradually explore the depths of the spiritual world. The ecology of the multi-domain world of Saint Land was amazing. Just from what Tucker learned from the leader of the Shadow Flame Demon Wolf, he knew that there was a powerful Shadow Lord level creature in the more stable Shadow layer of Saint Land. Even that powerful Shadow Lord chased the Shadow Flame Demon Wolf and wanted to catch it. The Shadow Flame Demon Wolf was scared and ran back to Tucker's barrier chamber in reality. He didn't dare to go to the Shadow layer for several days. I have to say that this demon wolf is sometimes quite a dog. At that time, Tucker also felt that the powerful Shadow Flame Demon Wolf Lord stayed nearby for several days. Fortunately, Tucker's barrier can avoid the detection of the Shadow layer. Otherwise, Tucker at that time would have a hard time dealing with the 4th order 48th level Shadow Lord. The Shadow layer, a relatively simple ecological area, can breed powerful life forms. Not to mention the spiritual world, where the souls of extraordinary people and spirituality are deposited and flowing. The ecology of the spiritual world is more complicated than that of the real world. When the spiritual world guards of Saint Land patrol, they only patrol those spiritual worlds that are easy to intersect with the real world. They obviously will not explore the deeper spiritual worlds. Saint Land still lacks sufficient experience and accumulation in the development of the spiritual world. But for those powerful extraordinary people, they can still enter the deep spiritual world for exploration, and they can still have quite good gains. After all, in the growth process of the ecological layer of Saint Land's comic world, the current stable internal areas were once the outside. Maybe there are some good things deposited here. Even before, some of the resources that Tucker had delivered to the deep space domain in the small world of the alien gate layer domain may have now fallen to the periphery of the current layer domain ecology of Saint Land. Deep in the darkness of the spirit world, buzzing, the dense spirit world thorn bees kept projecting their spiritual thorns. This attack can penetrate into the soul, causing the soul to enter a state of poisoning, swelling, etc., and even cause a certain degree of poisoning of the transcendent sequence tree. At this time, the one attacked by the spirit world thorn bees was Saint Land's first extraordinary swordsman Blank, who had come to guard the Lamore Steam Lighthouse during this period. With a continuous blooming of Blank's sword edge, the attacks of those spirit world thorn bees were constantly bounced off, blocked, shattered, and even directly wiped out by his rune sword. When hundreds of spirit world thorn bees attacked at the same time, Blank could still resist. However, As the number of spirit world thorn bees increased to 200 or 300, even blank could not bear it. It seems that I can't get those soul honey today. Thinking this, Brank began to retreat gradually to the back. At this time, whoosh, there was a sound of wind and waves. Then, hoo-la-la, a large piece of strong flames rushed into the sky, accompanied by the howling wind. In an instant, the fire swept the sky above Brank's head. All those spirit world stinging bees were covered in it. Buzz buzz buzz, while making a violent struggle sound. Those fist-sized, translucent spirit world stinging bees fell one after another. Even if those strong flames did not attack Brank, Brank could feel the terrible burning and blazing destructive power contained in those flames. Those spirit world stinging bees of more than 20 levels were killed almost by touching. This flame is at least above level 35. Is it the fire wizard who is more famous in La more recently? Thinking this, Brank looked at the figure of the caster not far away. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.